Atlantic City Sports presents the Offshore Grand Prix here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. As you can see, our first boats are getting out on the course, getting ready to go mill and start racing. It's the first race of the American Powerboat Association and UIM World Series. Begins here in Atlantic City, ending in the 45th annual Key West World Championships presented by Race World Offshore. And as we mentioned, these are APBA UIM sanctioned races. Hi, Todd Swafford along with my broadcast partner Eric Colby of SpeedOnTheWater.com. Of course, he follows the offshore races and reports on them each and every race of the year. We're in Atlantic City. You'd expect big water, Eric. We don't have it for fans today as we look off on board the X Insurance Helicam. It's a flat race day here, and it looks like it's going to be a flat race day for the weekend.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people were expecting, big banging off in the Atlantic, but we've got overcast skies, we've got calm conditions today. It might bump up tomorrow, but I noticed during testing there are a couple of tricky spots out in front of the steel pier the guys will have to watch for, and I still think we're going to see some really good action. So just glad after the 7-month layoff to be back.
Yeah, no doubt. And we're off to Michigan City, Indiana next, and Clearwater before hitting the Key West World Championships. Of course, Race World Offshore. It was great to get back with the crew and all of the familiar faces. Many of the people working here at RWO have been here for 2 decades, formerly with Superboat International, been with RWO since 2019. It was good to see all of the crew and the chiefs and all of the departments.
Oh, yeah, and then just to see, because this is a new venue for RWO, so to see 49 boats register and the support of the people who, some were maybe last minute, but that's a great turnout for this event.
Yeah, very good, and certainly exceeded their first-year expectations, especially with all the uncertainty and turmoil that's gone on during the regular race season. It's time to get to the APBA UIM part of the schedule. And UIM being a part of racing in the United States dating back to 1966. And APBA and UIM, of course, are partners in offshore powerboat racing in America and worldwide. But Race World Offshore was able to secure the UIM sanctioning, important for Class 1. Now Class 2, which is Factory Stock 500, and Supercat now being recognized by the UIM at their annual awards in Monaco.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too long before we see Superstock become a Class 3 either. There's been a lot of discussion of that over the last couple of days, and that it gives the guys more to kind of shoot for. Monaco isn't a bad place to visit during the winter, and go collect a pretty prestigious trophy for powerboat racing. And I just think the affiliation with UIM means a lot to some of these guys. The history of it, the record books, it's important to them.
Well, I mean, it's the fabric of the sport. I mean, if you want to win a championship in the realm where Don Aronow raced and Betty Cook and, of course, some of our contemporaries, including, Steve Curtis and John Tomlinson, you race with APBA and UIM. And we're looking at our bracketed class boats that will start today's race. It's a big paperclip. I mean, it's your typical oval race course, Eric. This one a little bit more narrow than most that we've seen.
Pretty narrow, and the fans on the shore are going to have a good view because they come right by the beach and right by the famed steel pier here off Atlantic City. We've got 2 classes starting in this race. It's Class 300 and Class 400. You want me to go ahead and run down the lineups?
Let's get the lineups for today's first starts.
In Team Hamilton, a 39-foot velocity, you have Jeff Millinghausen and Brandon Millinghausen. I think that's a father-son combo. And then Herbot Racing, Cade Herbot had a scheduling conflict. He would normally drive with his father, Keith. So Sean Stinson, a name that's familiar to a lot of people in offshore, will be behind the wheel of that 38 Fountain that many years ago ran as the Was Up right out of Brick, New Jersey, just down the road here. And then the Weehall Boats is the 38 Bad Boy with Nick Fennell and Michael Ogden. That's another local team from Little Egg Harbor. Then in bracket 400 in lane 1, we have the 30-foot Phantom Unleashed Racing with Scott Norton on the wheel and Larry Fonteca on the throttles. Lane 2, Simmons Marine. Jake Coons is driving, and Jason Zalecki from Lake of the Ozarks is on the throttles. Lane 3, Team 07 Racing. The boys from the UK, Andy Foster and James Norville on a 30-foot Phantom. Lane 4, Shocker, who's been having a really good year this year with driver Ray Evans and the owner Chris Colson. That is a 34-foot 3-inch fountain. Lane 5, Saris Racing. Johnny and Jason Saris from Bolton Landing, New York. The only team with a navigator, Vern French, in the boat. And Lane 6, Hartman X Insurance. They've been having a good season. They've got Speed Marine Power in the boat, and John Izetti's driving, and Jerry Hartman is throttling.
So in our first race here today, bracket class 3 and 400. The bracket class 300 boats will go 8 laps, and the bracket class 400, 7 laps. This is a 4-mile course. They had to reset it, and it went down about 3/4 of a mile. Originally scheduled to be a 4.83-mile course, now at just a shade over 4 miles. And later on today, we're going to have the Class 1 boats competing here today for the first time in the USA under the leadership of Race World Offshore, part of a series that will determine the worldwide championship in UIM Class 1, including Michigan City, Clearwater, and Key West. All of the races will count on the racing road to Monaco, and also racing with them super stock boats that are here today, 4 different competitors, and we'll end the day with the Super Cat teams racing along with your Factory 500 and Super V boats that have attended the Atlantic City Offshore Grand Prix. This is the Maximum Inflation live stream presented by Maximum Inflation. The new Maximus Quick Tire Inflation Kit by Maximum Inflation is the only U.S.-made valve that uses CO2 cartridges for your side-by-side motorcycle or ATV. Your machine got you there. The Maximus Quick Tire Inflation Kit gets you home. Looking at the south end of the course, this is a north-south course. Again, as we talked about, a very skinny oval up and down the beach, passes the Steel Pier, the historic boardwalk here in Atlantic City. And like to say it's good to be back racing. There's a long history of offshore powerboat racing in Atlantic City, and even with the APBA UIM as well, dating back to 1987 when the Trump's Castle sponsored event was here, and it ended up in 1989 as being the APBA UIM World Championship for the last time in that era from 1977 to 1989. When the UIM held their World Championship every other year here in the United States, it was right here in Atlantic City.
Yeah, and that 1989 race, there was some carnage.
Yes, there
they
was.
had some big water there, but and there's a local flavor here. You've got Anthony and Smitty from
Yes.
was up in Brick, New Jersey. Speed Marine.
Yes.
Kyle Miller in Brick, New Jersey, with engines and a whole bunch of boats here, and probably one of the cuter attractions in the pits, his brand new puppy Sandy,
Yes.
a little pit bull.
Yep, beautiful, beautiful little pup, no doubt. But yeah, no, real New Jersey flavor here, as it should be, as we're racing off the beaches of Atlantic City, New Jersey. And weather. Okay, we talked about it, touched on it earlier. You expect it to be really rough racing here. We're not going to get that today. Looks like we're going to have some ocean breezes somewhere in the 5 to 8 mile an hour range. And right now I'm looking at the flag, not moving at all. The tide right now has just finished up, as it's been coming in at high tide. And from this morning at 7:05 to low tide, which just occurred about 5 minutes ago. So we're going to have the outgoing tide all afternoon until it reaches high tide. Excuse me, it's going to be incoming tide all afternoon, which will be with the wind. So I don't think we're going to see any sea conditions that are going to be a real problem for the boat race teams out there today with the with that tide coming in all day. Typical ground swell from what we saw in the early testing that you'll see in ocean races on the Atlantic coast.
Chance of a shower off and on, little stuff like that, but I don't think it's anything that'll keep the helicopters on the ground. So we should get the races in today.
And then the one factor you always think about in Atlantic City certainly is fog. And it's something that we don't think is going to happen this weekend. Is probably more of a current concern right now than any rain and any wind that would be expected. We're waiting for the start of the bracketed class 3 and 400 here.
Yeah, there's one boat I think they're hoping will get on course and get out there. The Herbot boat is, they're trying to see if they can get out. I guess they're having some issues. Because I see all the 400 class boats milling. And there goes the Herbot boat just past the, it's off camera, but they're just going past the pier now to head down to the milling area.
So they're going to wait for Herbot to get down there. And get a shot from the X Insurance Helicam. Good to have Rick Lindsay back. Neil Mellis is cameraman on board.
And that Hamilton Marine has, that boat's been under a few different names, that 39 Velocity. We've seen it race under some other, so good to see him back out. Good, you know, someone always sees a boat and says, hey, I could go race that. So we have orange smoke. That means we're going to see him form up soon and head right towards the steel pier.
Bracket class racing is speed monitored, and I think with conditions like this, there could be the jeopardy of breakout. Bracket class 300, they're V canopied or V non-canopied boats, twin engine inboard outboards, bracketed speed of 90 miles an hour. And bracket class 400, those boats are V canopied or not, 85 mile an hour is speed limit. Those boats 27 to 35 miles an hour. As you see Herbot trying to hustle out to the milling zone.
Yeah, and if you look at the 400 class fleet, you've got a bunch of little Phantoms that would not have the advantage if it was big water, but they might be the Jackrabbits now that could get out and not have to worry about the conditions holding them back, or will it still be the Shocker Ceres battle that we were expecting coming in?
Yep. So boats are milling around counterclockwise. The race course is counterclockwise. So come down the beach running north. 2 wide sweeping turns at both the north and south end. Race control getting reports from
Everyone will get a chance.
Leland Sanford right now about lining up, and these boats have got to line up in order of their drawing at the drivers' meeting, whoever got the inside lane.
Yeah, lane 1 is Unleashed, lane 2 is Simmons, lane 3 is Team 07, 4 is Shocker, 5 is Ceres, and 6 is Hartman X Insurance. So that's how they're supposed to line up, and they're supposed to hold that until they get through turn 1.
All right.
And I believe the faster boats in class 3 will be in the inside closest to the pace boat if they're going to start everyone together, which it looks like they are.
That's Leland Stanford there holding the yellow flag on the pace boat. He'll get these boats lined up, and until they do, they're running it, get up at about 50 miles an hour with the pace boat. They have to stay a boat length back and stay a boat length away from each other. And once he gets them lined up properly, he seems happy with the positioning of the boats at this point on race control.
Yeah, there's one boat way back. I don't know, that might be Herbot still having some problems from this picture that we're looking at on the screen, because the class 3 boats are supposed to be closer to the pace boat, but they threw the green, so they are running.
Yep, the green flag is up. The race is on. Those are your bracket class 400 boats to the right of the screen. And we're off and racing here in Ocean City, New Jersey.
Looks like Team 07 is going to be leading them down the straightaway on the beach here with Shocker and Ceres right there in hot pursuit. And then way farther inside is Unleashed. And inside of them is the Hamilton boat, the new Millinghausen team and the Velocity.
Just past passing the steel pier, now moving into the north turn. It'll be a wide sweeping right-hand turn.
Yep, and they're supposed to hold their lanes through this, so we'll start seeing jockeying for position kind of after that.
So in testing, some rolling swell that came up towards the beach there. I didn't see anyone having to negotiate that there. And around the turn.
The 3-pin turn, and then they'll head north. 07 took a little bit of a hop, but nothing too crazy.
So that is the official start of the race. They start counting laps as soon as they come by the start-finish line at the pier. So we're out on lap number 1 of 8.
So Unleashed has pulled a little bit ahead of 07, and Shocker is in third. The other boat we just saw, the Velocity, was in a different class.
Good shot of Sarah's Racing. Yep. Boat to
and Simmons is inside of them. So yeah, Johnny and Jason Saris are trying to get over to shorten up the course so they could get to the inside where they like to run. And they're the only boat with a navigator, so they've got a third man in there who can keep an eye on the other boats and look back and see if anyone's coming up if they want to try to establish a lane.
Yeah, if you're new to powerboat racing, you're looking for clean lines. This is the most difficult part of the race course for these boats right now, trying to negotiate some water where you're not in the, in the churn of the boat in front of you. Looking for the clean water and the clean lines. 407 looking well. 07 Racing, Andy Foster and James Norville.
Making the trip from the UK to race. And they're up against the Unleashed team of Scott Norton and Larry Fonteca. And then just out of the view of the screen, we just saw them previously, was the Shocker boat. And the two boats in the lead are both Phantoms with a single engine, and the Shocker is a Fountain with twin engines. So that's how the weights and the brackets and the rules make it a level playing field.
So again, these boats are GPS monitored, and you have to hold your breakout speed. You can't exceed it. And during the entire course of the race, if there are penalties, it could fall down to tie-breaking situations. But first and foremost, you've got to stay inside your bracketed speed here in Class 400. That's 85 miles an hour. You're reigning world champs in bracket Class 400, Saris Racing.
Yeah, and there's some discipline to that because you're still a racer. So, having to hold back on the throttles is not natural.
That's right. And you have to watch the water. And here, not as much a case, but certainly still with the rolling swell, you don't want to get out of shape at all. And 07 continues to lead. Lap number 1, we are underway here in Ocean City.
They've got the tractor pipes on that boat. So you get the sound that everyone loves to hear out of them. And 07 is still taking a little bit wider line around the course. They're a twin step bottom. I think the Unleashed might be a little bit older boat. That might be a single step Phantom.
They found a better line around the course. Unleashed maybe getting nosed ahead here by.
Yep.
07 might be getting ahead of.
Unleashed might be getting ahead of 07. Yeah.
437 nosing ahead. Saris Racing Engines holding in third, and there we do. We have a lead swap.
I think we're going to see a few of those.
Now it's difficult. I mean, if you're running at your bracketed speed, did you have to exceed the speed limit to get around? That was on the turn, so you expect, obviously, there's going to be a deceleration in the turns.
Yeah, they basically say that if you pass in a straightaway, you're probably breaking out. You make your moves in your turns.
Right, and again, back to what we were talking about in the bump. You really got your throttle man wants to be watching the sea, not the GPS. But that's not the case in bracket class racing. So you've got to look at both. But really, most important thing is not to break out. It will cost you the race.
You're almost throttling and trimming by feel and watching the GPS, if that's something you can envision. But I noticed the Herbot boat is already off pace, trying to get you guys caught up on the bracket 300 race. Is going to be. It looks like it's going to be a 2-boat race.
Yeah, Team Hamilton Motorsports and WeHaulBoats.com.
But 436 is trying to take a tight line there, Unleashed. And I think they have the Go GPS sponsorship. And there's Team 07 is right there. Saris is right there in the mix. And Shocker taking a little wider line, trying to maybe keep the speed up, come around the outside. Looks like X Insurance Hartman is in 5th, and Simmons might be in 6th, which is a little uncharacteristic, but this isn't their water.
Not what they were expecting when you saw Atlantic City, New Jersey on the course.
No, when you sign up, it's like,
yeah,
okay, let's make sure we have our kidney belts, make sure we have our elbow pads.
Yep.
And instead it's like, wow, it's flat.
Looking at our leaders in bracket class 400, finishing up lap number 2. We've had a lead change with Unleashed Racing, Scott Norton and Larry Foncheca and their Phantom moving ahead of the 07 race team.
Looks like Saris is still in 3rd with Shocker in 4th as they come by the pier. Hartman X Insurance is 5th, and Simmons is still holding 6th. Now, here they are coming into the north turn. Unleashed is trying to maybe stretch it out a little bit, but I don't think 07's going to let him get too far.
07 getting a little bit of air there. You want to keep those props in the water. You can see Sarah's making a move on them as they were able to keep the boat level.
Yeah, both of the Phantoms are stepped. That the Saris's boat, that Cobra is not, and Johnny and Jason really know how to turn that, so they might be able to take advantage of that just by being able to outturn the other 2 boats, but we'll have to see.
Right now, following our leaders in bracket class 400, the lap number 3 of 7 here at the Atlantic City Sports Offshore Grand Prix, presented by Maximum Inflation here at Race World Offshore's Facebook page and YouTube channels. Great shot on board with the 21 Shocker, Ray Evans and Chris Colson.
Another boat with the tractor pipes. People love the sound. They've done a lot of work on this boat since they bought it right before Key West last year, and even a little custom modification of the length of the boat so it would fit the class rules. But it's been running well. It's been running consistent, which is the main thing. Can't win if you can't finish.
See the Atlantic City skyline, the casinos that dot the city, and of course the beaches here.
And this is a twin step fountain. The engine builder for the Shocker team. I can't remember, but they're local. They're Pelican Island, New Jersey, so it looks like
a GM power plant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like the Sarises are trying to get in the mix here for the lead in 400. Let's see as they come back up towards the steel pier and the big Ferris wheel here.
Coming close to reaching the midway point of bracket class 400. It's a 4-boat race here. First day of racing for Race World Offshore on their 2026 campaign with the American Powerboat Association and UIM. We'll see UIM Class 1 as well as UIM Class 2 and SuperCat APBA UIM recognized. We presented trophies in Monaco in January with the UIM's annual awards.
Yeah, it looks like Unleashed is coming by in the lead, but Saris is now up to 2nd with 07 in 3rd. And Shocker still running 4th. Hartman X Insurance is 5th, and Simmons is running 6th. So it looks like Team Hamilton might be the only 400 class boat running. We'll have to see if we can get a camera on them when they come by. Oh no, WeHaulBoats is still running too, but
back to the X Insurance Hartman Motorsports.
Speed Marine powered.
Yes, sir. Sweet Marine's got quite a few boats as well as Saris Racing engines here in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Yeah, look. Oh, do we have a pass here? The Sarises are trying to take the lead away from the Unleashed team.
Yep, and they will, it appears. There's a battle for second here on the live stream.
No, this is for first.
Oh,
in class, yeah.
Apologies. Yes, Saris has moved all the way up from third to first. And Unleashed has got enough to try and stay ahead.
Yeah, well, Unleash has the inside, so it's a matter of, and then if they if Sarises have to have so much space to be able to come over and try to take the inside lane, you have an overlap rule that you can't just go cutting people off either. So.
So Unleashed, Saris Racing, and Team 07. Shocker, those are your top 4 boats. We saw a challenge. Saris had moved up from 4th to 3rd, and now 2nd, but they were side by side with Unleashed as they headed down to the south turn. Again, a 4-mile-long course, and they're out for 7 laps in bracket class 400, bracketed speed at 85 miles an hour. So these boats will be teched at the end of the race to make sure they stayed in their bracket as we see the Herbot Racing team.
Yep, they're still logging laps. You never know if the other guys in 300 break. They're on the podium either way because there's only 3 boats. But for points, you gotta qualify if you want to go race Key West. So smart to put in the laps just in case.
Well, here come your leaders of bracket class 400. They're going to have some traffic in front of them with the Herbot Racing team from class 300 racing out in front of them. So you look at Shocker, who's running back in 4th, chasing behind the 07 boat. Hard to see at this moment, but you'll see in your screen shortly the leaders in bracket class 400 because they're moving up on the stern of the Herbot team that was on screen. Shocker running in 4th right now in bracket class 400, and our leaders are coming in front of the steel pier here in a moment.
Yeah, it looks like Unleashed is back out front.
Unleashed off screen right now. There they are.
There's Unleashed just past Herbot. And Sarises are in 2nd.
On the inside of Herbot. We're unable to overtake them on that southbound leg. Team 07 Racing continuing to hold into 3rd. Shocker in 4th. You see the lead group again moving towards the ocean, now around the 3-pin turn, and now back from the north to the south end.
I was wondering if Johnny was going to try to make a dive into the closer to the buoy there, but Unleashed is running a pretty tight circuit. So
in a race like this, even without the big ocean waves, you still have a groundswell.
Yep.
Instead of 1.5, maybe 2-foot wave action, and with the incoming tide and the wind behind it, you don't expect any adverse conditions because of that. But you always got to look for that groundswell in that spacing that you might not expect. So the driver and the throttleman really have to be alert regardless.
Yeah, and typically speaking, the Atlantic is a more closely spaced wave than if you were running, I say, out on the West Coast in the Pacific. So it can still toss you up in the air if you're not looking for it.
There's our leader, Unleashed Racing, in bracket class 400, the 30-foot Phantom with the Chevrolet power at 900 horsepower.
They're based out of Sarasota, we believe. Actually, I misspoke. The 07 boat's a 32.
Okay.
So it's a little bit bigger, but like the Unleashed is just kind of proven that jackrabbit theory in the calm conditions so far. Off screen, we still have the Millinghausens and Team Hamilton leading in 300, and Weehall Boats is still running 2nd. So
back to Team Simmons Racing.
This is the Hamilton boat, the Velocity here on screen.
My apologies.
Which is the Millinghausens out of Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania. So probably almost a home race for them. And that would be pretty cool. Home race, first time out, first win.
Back to the X Insurance Helicam, looking on board Saris Racing, Lake George, New York, the 32 Cobra.
Oh, did they get past and there's Unleash on the inside now trying to come back up? That's what it looks like.
It sure does.
We're going to have a battle right to the end with these two, I think.
And you just, again, with the conditions like this, you know, it's all going to come down to when Tex pulls their data loggers.
But Jason Saris is very good at this bracket racing. They've been doing it for quite a while, and you know, anyone can have an issue, but normally they don't break out. So let's see about if the Unleash guys. You just don't know until they read the chips.
Saris Racing has taken the lead here on lap number 5 of 7.
And now they're defending that inside line there. Johnny's right on the buoys.
Got a pretty significant lead now. Remember, just on the last lap, they were side by side, and then Unleashed had pulled out to about a 2 or 3 boat lead. So pretty significant change from first to second in 07.
And Shocker's trying to come up on the inside now too.
Both are making moves on the number 2 boat, Unleashed Racing.
You always feel for these guys when you go back through the pits later, if someone did break out and you see, and you can just kind of tell when you walk into their camp, and it's like, what do you mean? I thought we broke out.
Yeah. You know, as you see 07 making a challenge for second here on the Atlantic City skyline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, again, it all comes down to breakouts. Those GPS data cards get turned in, and the race officials have to sit there with scoring and determine, sometimes through a series of tiebreakers, who won the race, because the top boats may have all broke out once or twice.
And then this morning at the drivers' meeting, they also discussed something about the breakout rule, and it's more than 3 seconds total for one breakout gets you to last place. And if you break out more than 3 miles per hour above the bracketed speed, you get DQ'd.
Right.
So we'll just,
it can get complicated, and it certainly is a tough scoring aspect. As you see, your 2, 3, and 4 boats now all stacked up with each other in the south turn.
And the other thing they talk about too, it's not so much today, but in a rougher water race, when they take to the air, when the boat leaves the water, it'll accelerate. So then they have to watch that as far as do they break out. But here we're back on the Velocity, the Team Hamilton boat.
So Team Hamilton continues to run as your leader here. About a 14-second lead over WeHaulBoats.com.
Yeah, kind of local bragging rights with the Millinghausens from Fairless Hills and We Haul Boats from Little Egg Harbor, New Jersey, right down the road. But Unleashed is still out in second place ahead of 07. Now we're back on the Velocity.
Live coverage of the Atlantic City Offshore Grand Prix presented by Atlantic City Sports as we look at our leaders coming back through in bracket class 400.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're on our white flag lap now, just starting it.
Yeah, Saris was off camera, but there's no change in the top 4
right
going into the final lap. Team Hamilton Marine continuing their lead in bracket class 300.
39-foot Velocity, and while we're thinking about Velocity, we heard Bob Spitulski, who drives the 26-foot Velocity in class 600, had a little bit of a hand injury, so we want to wish him well. Hope to see him back out with Scott McCormick. Shocker, they might be done. because they were very adamant about not running extra laps. So Class 400, no, 07 pulled off, but now Shocker is up and running again. So let's see here.
Yeah, by our lap count and the instructions at the drivers' meeting, you didn't start counting until they came by the pier for the first time. So we should be on the last lap, unless 07 had some sort of a mechanical.
Because there's the Sarases running by, the Lonesomes out front. We got a red flag.
Divers in the water.
We have a red flag situation. We're listening to race control right now. There's divers in the water.
Red flag. All racers stop. Divers in the water. Red flag.
So red flag means there's an incident on the course. The fact that the divers are in the water. In cases like this where you have boats that are not canopied, many
someone
times
might have gotten spit out.
Yep, someone might have got tossed out. The boats that are non-canopied, the
Open
competitor,
cockpit,
the open cockpit, the competitors in the cockpit are not restrained. So I mean, you hit the boat the wrong way, or you spin it, hook it, and you can get tossed right out.
And we talk a lot about the dunk test that all the guys have to do for the closed cockpit boats. Well, the open cockpit competitors all have to pass a swimming test, so they have to have enough swimming proficiency to be able to at least keep themselves, above water, for lack of a better term, God forbid, in that kind of a situation. So we just hope everyone's okay.
And
it looks like something's going on with
it could have been
07 boat.
Yeah, the boat that we saw move to the center of the course after they came around the north turn. So that might have been what happened with them.
That could have been someone in the boat having a medical issue too. We've heard of that in the past.
Absolutely. So, it's all speculation at this point. We were looking onto the boat. I see two helmets.
I see two helmets, but I see two other people tending to them. So
yes,
let's just wait until we get notification rather than.
I imagine at this point with 6 laps in,
this is a complete race.
Yeah, a complete race. Sarah's Racing Engines was in first, Unleashed Racing in second.
But then you don't know if it was Shocker or 07s because Shocker went past when 07 came off course.
Yeah, as they passed the checkpoint, 07 was ahead.
And then Team Hamilton would have won in Class 3.
And, of course, these are all unofficial results because they have to be checked and checked for bracket violations. Up next, we'll have the Class 1 teams and the Superstock teams racing here in Atlantic City. We continue to watch what's going on out on the course with the incident. We're hearing that Angel 1 is hovering to survey the situation. Their divers have been on the scene and were immediately on the accident. We're hearing they're going to take the competitors off the boat. Seems like all is well and that the boat will be under tow very soon.
Yeah, when we talk about the Class 1, we had a bit of a surprise coming into Atlantic City.
There we are looking overhead with the 07 boat. Was the boat involved in the incident? But yeah, that was really the big story when we got here. First, the weather, because you expect, it's going to be bumpy here. But when we got into the pits, we saw a new Class 1 UIM boat.
There's this all-white 45 Victory.
Yes.
And the first thing I thought of when I saw just the red trim around the enclosed cockpit was, didn't 222 Offshore Australia have that red trim around the cockpit and the canopy?
Right.
And then I started asking questions, and sure enough, unfortunately, Bill Pyburn and Britt Lilly had a pretty spectacular crash out in Lake of the Ozarks not too long ago. It was Lake of the Ozarks, and that tore up the boat that they had started the season with. So Bill, being ever persistent and tenacious and wanting to continue racing, made a deal with Darren Nicholson. And so for this race, it's my understanding that Britt Lilly will still be in the boat with Bill. And then the rest of the season, Darren Nicholson will make the trip over from Australia to drive in Michigan City, Clearwater, and Key West.
So I think it was on the As the Prop Turns podcast. Bill Vibrant said we were going to have a Class 1 boat, in Michigan City. You were wondering, he was going to make some sort of a deal. Tyler Miller's 438 skater was out there, and he had called Bill about that. But one of the most successful victories in Class 1 racing in recent years, world champion 3 years ago, and one open hatch in the cockpit, one turn away from winning his second in Key West. 2 years ago, the 222 Offshore team with Darren Nicholson, he's going to be teaming up with Bill Pyburn and the Bill Pyburn racing team in Class 1. Of course, Dirty Money is his Super Cat, along with the Renfros, and is a 2-time defending world champion in that class. And we'll be seeing them later here today racing, as well as the all-white right now number 3 boat that Britt Lilly's going to be in with him here this afternoon. So we're in a red flag situation. We had unknown incident with the 07 boat. The races, we have to imagine, looks like the boats are heading back to the pits there. That the races are done here for the first of 3 races here today.
And when you talk about Darren Nicholson, we also want to send a best wishes and shout out to Muddy McGrath down in Australia. Hope he's doing well. He's usually watching these things. Long-time
racer and
crew chief.
Crew chief. Worked with the Maritimo team when they if I'm correct, he raced in 2012, won the world championship in Super Cat class in the Maritimo boat.
Yeah, and he throttles sometimes for Darren down in Australia.
Mm-hmm. So just a great mate of Darren's and of Offshore Powerboat racing. So we're in between races here, our bracketed class boats, and our first start here this afternoon are done. Coming up next, Class 1 and Superstock will be racing. It's the Atlantic City Sports Offshore Grand Prix, presented by Race World Offshore. We'd like to thank some of our hotel sponsors, including Bally's Atlantic City, Caesars, the Golden Nugget, Harrah's Resort, and as well as our series sponsors, Maximum Inflation, Racing Communications, Southern Racing Fuels, and Sunoco Race Fuels. It was quite a ceremony this morning, the opening of the APBA UIM leg of the World Championships. Of course, APBA and UIM racing here in the United States combined for World Championships dating back to 1966. So quite a history out there in the record book. And we even had Jean-Marie Van Lanker from the UIM in Europe come in and trust the teams. And UIM very excited about the deal that they put together with Race World Offshore. Larry Blyle here moving forward to race not only in the X Insurance Class 1 series, the 40-plus foot catamarans with the Mercury 1100 QC4V engines, the big catamarans, Class 1, but also Class 2, factory stock 500, and unprecedented Super Cats are also part of the World Championship Series, APBA Super Cat, all being recognized in Monaco at the annual awards.
Yeah, because, I'm pretty sure the Australian rules for Super Cat are quite similar to the rules for the U.S., so wouldn't that be cool eventually to see boats from Super Cats from other countries come up here and race and vice versa? So,
yeah. Well, obviously Maritimo came here and won a long time ago. The rules have changed since then. You can't have surface drives, but I would be surprised to see Super Cat team owners revisit that because I think they've proven in Class 1 that the number 6 drives and the surface drives very competitive against each other. You don't have a huge advantage with the rudder boat. Certainly, conditions will dictate all of that. Well, coming up, our Class 1 boats and Superstock boats will be here to race in the Atlantic City Sports Offshore Grand Prix. We're going to take a quick time out, come back more with the Maximum Inflation live stream on Race World Offshore's Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Stop at Sunoco. Go with confidence.
Enjoy the fabulous feel of fuel power. Video game move off into turn 3.
At Sunoco Race Fuels, we started blending our first high-octane fuel in 1950. And since then, we've become leaders in the industry, helping drivers become leaders on the track. Today, we sit at the front of the pack with partnerships of more than 40 different racing bodies, including 20 years of fueling NASCAR.
A chastity past Hamlin.
But a true leader never rests on their laurels. Now's the time to remind the racing world who we are and embrace what it truly means to take the lead.
36, get to the back bumper of the 4 and give him a big push.
You have to fight to pull ahead, to find your edge, to do whatever it takes to make you 1/10 of a second faster, smarter, more committed than the other guy, because you've got the kind of passion that can overcome the impossible. And we've got the most powerful performance race fuel available to help you do it. Sunoco Race Fuels. Take the lead.
The all-new Bally's Atlantic City has new rooms, new restaurants, and more.
Enjoy a night of fine dining at Park Place Prime, where Jerry Longo's meatballs and martinis.
Then stay in our brand new Bally's Hotel Tower, inspired by the heart and soul of the AC Beach and Boardwalk.
These contemporary and clean rooms are reflective of the bright and soothing coastline.
So book your stay today. Visit Bally'sAC.com.
Plus, don't miss happy hour at Park Place Prime or Phil's Carousel Bar.
When you're looking for a change of scenery, there's 3 spots for those out on the town views, those relaxed views, and those make you feel alive views. They're just what you crave when you're down the shore, and they're all only a drive away. So, plan your Atlantic City getaway, where indulgence and luxury meet endless summer vibes.
Experience summer in Atlantic City. Create memory-making moments in Atlantic City. Book your stay today.
Atlantic City Sports, the Offshore Grand Prix here, presented by Race World Offshore. Glad to have you back. We got our first races in the books here this afternoon. Still lots more, 2 race starts this afternoon, and we're back on Sunday with 3 more race starts here on the beach. Great to be back in Atlantic City, and the first time Race World Offshore has been to the races here. So many people helping to make this happen. Certainly would like to thank the Atlantic City Fire Department, Police Department, a big part of getting this together and organizing it. The U.S. Coast Guard, of course, always helping in a big way, and the Diego Sanchez and his team out there on the water and helping the event to happen here again this year. Also, would like to especially thank Ken Adams, the Director of Operations at the Golden Nugget. They've been our host hotel, and where our dry pits and wet pits happen right there across the way at the marina. And it's been such a great run. Everyone's already looking forward to next year.
And logistically, it's always great to be able to walk out of where you're staying, walk over to the pits, walk to your area. You know, you're not. It keeps vehicle movement down to a minimum when it's all centrally located like that, which is great.
No, it's especially important for tech and safety. Sean Steinert in SSR, he and J.R. Anderson's company, renowned for their excellence in safety. You have to inspect all the boats and make sure they have all the safety equipment, make sure there's, nothing dodgy that might happen that doesn't meet standards that could lead to some sort of injury or incident out on the race course. And those guys are always top notch. Richie Dancizin and his crew, the tech in the boats, because the boats they got to be teched after the race to make sure that everything's proper, but they got to get teched before they go into water to make sure that they meet all of the rules and specifications to their individual classes
and get everyone back in one piece.
That's right. So especially like to welcome Roger Conley, who's come on board once again, a longtime member of the offshore tech community. Of course, he's known for teching in the high speeds motorsports, including drag racing. Longtime friend of Richie Dancizin's. He, of course, is with RWO Tech here in Atlantic City and will be with us the rest of the season. We talked about UIM, our UIM officers that were here helping, along with Jean-Marie Van Lincoeur, helping RWO, and our race secretary is Michelle Petro, protest judge Gene Stevens, the UIM sports commissioner Leland Stanford, and the rest of the staff that, as we mentioned, these are all familiar faces that have been around racing for many of them for 20, 25 years. And certainly since Race World Offshore began in 2019, including our chief scoring official, Brittany Tomlinson, race control, Ken Wells, safety director, Sean Steinert, just mentioned him, and registration with his wife, Holly, and Terry Letterman, and chief referee this year, Howie Nichols, a longtime member with the American Powerboat Association. So great to see the old familiar faces gather up again here this year. First time for RWO in Atlantic City. As we move on to Michigan City next, Clearwater, and then on to Key West for the 45th annual Key West World Championships. You know what they say, to be the best, you got to win. Key West, the granddaddy of them all.
Well, let's not forget the OG of offshore powerboat racing announcing, Mr. Todd Swafford.
Thank you very much.
And J.W. Powell, the guy who does everything behind the scenes that nobody knows about.
Yeah, and it's great to have our team back with Extreme Angles, Ian and Chris leading the way and building our live stream here during the season. Looking forward to the next step in Michigan City, Indiana. And of course, you can't talk about Race World Offshore without mentioning Roger Cox, our race director, and through his company Cox Group, helping to organize media and registration. And Larry Blau, the president of Race World Offshore, who keeps this group together and has had his focus on establishing stability in the sport since forming Race World Offshore in 2019, securing the the RFP to get the contract for Key West and the World Championships, and just renewing that contract this past month for 5 more years, where the World Championships are in a solid place at Key West, using the waterfront property at Truman Annex and including the outer mole area, and talking about having an all-in-one inclusive area for, where you got wet pits, dry pits, watching the races, VIP experience. It's much the same, in Michigan City too. But for the World Championships, it's all solid here, and you can find out all the details about all of our races at raceworldoffshore.com.
Yeah, he's definitely been consistent with the message of staying the course, staying the course, staying the course. Keep moving forward, keep your head down.
Yep.
There's almost like a Bill Belichick, do your job kind of approach, and it's given stability in a really unstable time right now. And I think that's what you saw by people showing up here 49 boats strong.
He's in the game for the long haul.
Yep.
And we salute Larry's resilience through the entire process, and again, addressing the race teams here today and letting them know that the Race World Offshore is here and here to stay. Next up, Racing Class 1 and Super Stock. We'll finish the day in our third race with Super Cat, the Factory 500 team, and the Super V teams that are here competing. We got a surprise, today in Super V. We had heard some rumors. I mean, they're new. We talked about them earlier. The What's Up team and Smitty of OPA, the organization out of New Jersey, and they're producing a race later on at in the Great Lakes in Lake Michigan at St. Clair. And
Lake Hopatcong.
That's
in
right.
September.
No doubt. But the St. Clair race, obviously,
32 years.
32 years in the making.
Blue Water Offshore Association.
Yeah, and it was, the original commitment by the super stock teams to be there. We heard that they're going to stick with that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Because, I mean, the community of St. Clair, has been around a long time. Detroit, St. Clair River is a big part of the American Powerboat Association, even. And
oh my gosh, the Gold Cup that went the years that they used to have the Unlimiteds there.
Yeah, and the old Harmsworth trophies with Gar Wood, and I mean that stuff. With all that was raced on the Detroit River there, but the entire area, it's been a whole big part of powerboat racing, and we wish all you guys well, and keeping that race going. It did make me. It made me feel good to know that the right folks are still involved in keeping that thing going round and round and round. So,
yeah. Speaking of long-standing events, 4th of July weekend, the APBA Gold Cup, which I believe is the oldest trophy in powerboat racing, back in Madison, Indiana, with the Miss Madison team hosting the event again, and they will have an unlimited hydroplane back on the course, and there's going to be some good hydroplane racing going on that weekend, and might be worth checking out that live stream, because if you want to see 200 miles an hour on the water, those turbine engines wound up. There's not much of that boat in the water, but it sure is fun to watch.
Yeah, no, lots of disciplines with the American Powerboat Association going way back, and with the UIM, over 100 years of history in the realm of racing on the water with the Union of International Moto Nautique. They are the founding company of powerboat racing and helped the American Powerboat Association be founded in the United States in the early 1960s, helped organize those races. Some of the races that were early and the longest continuous race put on by the UIM in the race in the world, but it originally put on was Cow's Torquay.
Yep.
And we'll be talking a little bit more about that later on with Rob Lockyer Racing in our Super V class against the aforementioned What's Up team. But the UIM founded that race and organized it for an original independent race that was the Miami-Nassau race. When we talk about crazy offshore events, back in the day when racing boats could just be big cruisers that were going out, and the weather was the weather. You didn't you know, you didn't get a storm course. You still went out and raced in those things. And from what, and sitting there talking with Tim and Rob of the DSK boat that's racing a little bit later on here this afternoon, that that racing in Cowes Torquay, it's almost 200 miles.
Yeah.
You know, and that it's the most harrowing thing the guys have ever done in their life. You know, but worth it, and they're back doing it, you know, again and again at the same time.
My first race in California, when I was the editor at Powerboat, I rode with Ricky Ford in a 30-foot Awesome Cat, one of the first ragamuffin boats, and we were in San Francisco. And you go out under the bridge, and the turnboat had to have a small blimp tied to the bow rail because the waves were so high you couldn't even find the boat, never mind the buoy. So we went out under the bridge and took our first flyer, and you know how you count when the boat's in the air?
Uh-huh.
We counted for a long time. And when we caved out, we broke all the hatch pins. So for the rest of the race, my job as navigator was to try to either hold it down or just keep an eye on the hatches to make sure they didn't rip off. And I think we ended up still winning our class. He was a very tenacious throttleman, and Paul Whittier was actually on the wheel of that boat before his days with Bob Teague and the Amsoil machine. So that was a long time ago.
Long time ago. All right, we're waiting our Class 1 and Superstock competitors to get out. It's been a little bit of a delay getting them out of the wet pits. This is Todd and Eric, continuous coverage of the Race World Offshore live stream from Atlantic City, New Jersey, brought to you by Maximum Inflation CO2 rearming kits for all inflatable life jackets. They're U.S. Coast Guard approved and verified by Underwriters Laboratory for performance and compatibility. Maximum Inflation CO2 rearming kits. Back with more right after this.
Atlantic City's ultimate year-round family destination. Thrilling slides, relaxing rivers, and tropical fun for every age, every season. Or check out the famous Lucky Snake Arcade, packed with prizes, mini golf, and roller skating, all in one place. Stay where it all comes together. Relax, recharge, and make memories at dog-friendly Showboat Atlantic City.
Miami is the envy of all people in the amusement rentals business. I call it the hottest town and the hottest city in the country. In 1995, I bought my first bounce house. 25 years later and over 1,000 inventoried items, here sits All-Star Events. 98% of our business was backyard parties. But we got a couple of inquiries from municipalities, cities. But we also saw that some of the requirements were different than what we were used to in the backyard business, mostly having to do with insurance needs. So we started to say, okay, if we properly insured ourselves, would it pay off in the amount of business we could bring in? And that was a no-brainer. As we insuranced up, we saw more and more people come on, mainly because of our insurance provisions. So that was instrumental to our growth, absolutely, absolutely. Although it's fun and games, that's the nature of our business, it comes down to one thing, our responsibility to keep people safe. We don't take that lightly, from the snow cone attendant to the roller coaster attendant. So I felt like when I found X Insurance, I found a partner. And consequently, our claims have gone down considerably. Now we're in a place where we understand risk and we understand challenges. X Insurance saved my backside a million times over and puts me here as the #1 player in the hottest city, in the hottest town in the country.
The Atlantic City Sports Offshore Grand Prix, Race World Offshore, kicking off the APBA UIM Series, which will end in Key West with the 45th Annual World Championships. We'll be stopping in Michigan City and Clearwater on the way as we see our next competitors out, the Class 1 and Superstock boats here to compete here this afternoon. Todd and Eric back with you. Eric will be doing the follow-up file story after the weekend, Monday at speedonthewater.com, as you always do. Such a great job, Eric.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And you did get some news about our red flag earlier in bracket class 400 shut down the racing. It was all the way into its final lap, but you got some information on what happened with the 07 boat.
Yeah, I texted with Chris Colson from Shocker, and they said that I don't know the extent of the impact, but the 07 and the Shocker boat did collide. So something must have happened after that, and I just hope everyone's okay. And we'll try to get more updates as we hear them. But we're going to go ahead and get the Class 1 boats and the Superstock boats lane assignments for you. And the Bill Pyburn Racing Class 1 boat with driver Britt Lilly and Bill Pyburn throttling will be in, well, you know what? There's only 2 of them. So Discreet Offshore is the 50-foot Mystic, the all black with the pink highlights. Driver Reese Langheim. Adam Carpenter is the owner Throttleman. So they will be in the outer lanes. The Superstock boats will be on the inside of the course. And in lane 1 for the Superstocks will be the Langston brothers, Hampton and Sloan, in the 32-foot Doug Wright HBS Motorsports. Lane 2, Speedmaster Performance out of Long Island, New York. John Domino driving, Michael Domino on the throttles in the 32 Doug Wright. Lane 3, Team Bad Decisions, the grizzled young veterans, Cameron Turk and Owen Buis in the 32 Victory. And lane 4 will be Huck Racing powered by Proflex, the 29 Wicked, with owner Todd DePhillips on the throttles and James Markovitz on the wheel.
All right, so Todd DePhillips, who for a long time was known for Matty FI, converting the old 300XS engines that they used in the Superstock class. He had the kit that they used to convert them from 20-inch to 15-inch midsections, and he's now out there racing with the new Mercury ROS engine in the Superstock class, and that Hook Racing team is they'll get out here on the water and race. There are 4 Superstock boats that are here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and we've seen a great run with the Superstock boats this year. Historic turnouts for them to start the years at non-APBA UIM events, and we look forward to seeing them later gather up here with us later on this year. And certainly it's been a lot of fun watching the development of that Mercury ROS engine, the 15-inch midsection.
Yeah, I mean, if you can take 600 horsepower and put it 5 inches lower on your transom, it's got to improve your center of gravity and how the boat handles.
Yeah, you're talking about a divergent series of boats that we're going to watch race here right now. We have 2 Class 1 UIM boats, and they are 40, up to 50 feet. With the one Discreet Racing team we have is a 50-foot Mystic, and the 45-foot Victory that's out there, powered by the twin QC4V 1100 turbocharged engines. And then of the national classes, you have the smallest and the lightest of the national class boats in the catamaran category, in roughly 32-foot Doug Wright boats that are racing here. But they're also Victory hulls and STR racing hulls. But the smallest boat of the field in Superstock is the 32 Wicked that we're going to see with the Hook, with the Hook Racing team here this afternoon.
I've never known, was it Hook or Huck?
It's Hook.
Hook, okay.
It's absolutely
because of fishing. Okay.
That's right.
But the interesting thing too with the Discreet boat, that's the only Class 1 boat with Trimax drives that were designed and developed by Fabio Buzzi.
Right. And that, when I heard that, that's the first thing that came to my mind, because he used to run that with his big mono hull with the
La Gran Argentina with 4 of them in the C-Tech diesels.
That's right.
That he designed too, and he was always, with his Italian accent, well, mine don't break. He always liked to take shots at the number 6 drive.
He took a great pride in dependability and to start a race and to finish a race, and So this is the first time I've seen Trimax in offshore racing in quite a long time. Interesting technology, and the 45 Victory Hull. It's a rudder boat, so it's BPMs.
Yeah, we're still waiting on the hook boat by the looks of it. I don't see it out there. I see the Speedmaster. I only see 3 super stocks and 2 pro class 1s. Where's the 4th one?
You're right. At the distance, it's hard to get a range of the. It's hard to get a range, so we're looking for the Hook Racing powered ProFlex boat with James Marco and Todd DePhillips, 28 Wicked. And these super stock boats have to carry weight. The boats had weight about 4,300, 4,400 pounds. A few years ago, they added 500 pounds in minimum weight coming out of the water to 4,900 pounds. There is a penalty for the hook boat because it's 4 feet shorter, doesn't have as long a running surface. So they're carrying 1,325 pounds of weight in the boat to be legal. So balancing these boats, and no matter what classification you're talking about, is critical to how you're going to perform out there, the weight that you have to carry. And you can carry weight just to get the boat balanced to fly properly in a normal race. But these guys have, in super stock, have an even higher bar because they have to carry extra weight. So learning where to put that weight becomes critical in the type of race day you're going to have, not just to mention what propellers that you're going to choose up and down the classes. And that weight is usually in bags of lead shot that they have compartments throughout the boat that they can place it in different areas. Yeah, it's not just like putting bricks up there or something. Yeah, now when they're building new boats like STR and Victory or Doug Wright boats, they're strategically setting up the boat so that there's there's strategic places to put weight and to do it so that it won't move around. Because you can't have weight moving around on you. Once you put it into place, you'll get your boat completely out of balance, and it could be bad for it. Because if stuff shifts all to one side or the other, especially in a catamaran. Well, like Fran Vellatato in his 26 Scarab Rum Runners built a special compartment with a stainless steel lid to hold everything in place. He showed it to me. So even down in the bracket classes, the weight is really important as far as where you put it and how you secure it. We're in a holding pattern here, waiting for our Class 1 and Superstock boats here to race at the Atlantic City Sports Offshore Grand Prix. We'd be remiss not to take time right now to salute our men and women in serving our country, not only stateside but worldwide, keeping us safe and free. We salute the men and women of the Armed Forces, the United States Coast Guard, for all you do in keeping the United States free. And also the men and women of law enforcement here, is RWO Backs the Blue, Atlantic City Police, doing a great job here helping us put on this race on the Atlantic Ocean in Atlantic City. Yeah, considering the start of the season that he's had, Owen Buis has had a great year in Mod V, and this is a golden opportunity for him to place high on the podium for the first time in Superstock with driver Cameron Turk in the X-Insurance boat. He will be back out tomorrow in the Louisiana-sponsored Kluwat Cartel Mod V boat. And they've had, I think, if they haven't podiumed every race, they've only missed one. And Owens won a couple to start the year, so not bad for 18. No, we have a real solid turnout in the Mod V. Oh, there's the hook boat. Just came on the screen. Yep, on the left of the screen. Little different profile, lower to the water. So they're running the ROS engines. Not every boat has made the conversion. So same power plant, but these are the beefier engines. They've been able to modify these engines to deal with some of the issues they had early with the engines, mounting brackets and such. They're also louder as
Yeah, they got a growl to them.
They do have a growl to them. If anybody said, well, those things sound like bees and they hum, they don't anymore. And the RS and expect that you're going to have you're going to have better handling, obviously, with the lower profile. Something that the teams have been wanting for a while, and got it addressed and was addressed very methodically by Mercury Racing, and they debuted them last year. This is the first year that they've been able to race them. There's also, a model available for the consumer marketplace.
I mean, I'm looking out at a flag right now, and there's no wind.
No wind at all.
If this isn't a golden opportunity for the smallest boat in the fleet to jackrabbit out early, I don't know what would be. It's just going to be a matter of having to carry that extra weight and how that influences them.
Yeah, we talked earlier, the very light wind coming from the ocean out of the east-southeast. We've got an incoming tide, so the wind's coming with the tide. Wouldn't have any issues there. You just got to watch for a little bit of a groundswell, but very little wind at all, as Eric just mentioned. It's not going to be a concern here today. There's a chance of rain that we haven't seen as of yet, keeping people off the beaches somewhat. A little bit better weather expected tomorrow, maybe a little bit more sunshine, but pretty much the same type of conditions that we're getting right now. We got a green light for them to get them in the mill and get this race going.
We should see. I mean, we did see orange smoke already, but it was I think it was a little premature. So now they've got the yellow flag up, so they're going to form them up and get them on the course.
So
5 miles an hour. Nice straight line. Nice straight line. Everybody get in your spots.
Everybody's being instructed to get in their spots, bring in the mill. They'll mill.
They're going to line up
clockwise.
They're going to line up at 50 miles an hour. They're forming them up to get the start going now. So they're going to line them all up in the lanes that we already gave you, and the super stock boats will be on the inside. Basically, if you can think of an imaginary lane, the Class 1 boats will be in lanes 5 and 6. And then when they get them to 50 miles an hour and the chief referee sees a good lineup where no one's going to get an unfair advantage, then they should get them. Oh, they switched it up. The Class 1 boats are now on the inside. So they're going to have the Class 1 boats start from the inside, assuming that they'll pull away, and then the super stocks can have their own race.
All right, here come our Class 1 boats, X Insurance UIM, and then Super Stock. Class 1 to the inside.
Okay, guys, get nice and even. Get ready,
BPM
guys.
Racing, BPR.
I can't imagine they're not going to send them sooner than later just to let them get separated before the first turn.
Yeah, closest by the pace
we got a
boat.
green flag.
The green flag is up. Discreet Offshore and
red flag. We have a boat in the course, turn 1. Red flag.
red flag because there's a boat in the course at turn 1. So we're gonna,
red flag.
Boats are just being
Flag.
notified by
stop. We have a spectator boat in the course at turn
race
1.
control. We're hearing in our ear right now.
Red flag.
Class 1 boats are
not slowing.
They're not slowing down.
We're down here at the bottom third.
We're watching to see if they're going to pick it now. Bill Pyburn pulling, lifting.
Red flag.
Looking.
Red flag.
Cautiously now getting around the turn and heading back to mill.
Go to the back stretch with the red flag and pick them all up and start over.
We got to do this all one more time.
A discreet boat was holding its own with BPR.
Well, I mean, you have to figure that BPR's only had the boat less than a week. Got some probably issues to get it running the way they like.
And have them follow you.
Yeah, they don't have all the equipment that they want on the boat yet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Bill Pyburn, if you go technologically, you look at the Dirty Money Racing, the Super Cat, you're going to see the most technologically advanced boat that there is out there. It's a cutting edge. Probably right there with it.
Yeah, I mean, I did a
is the
story.
Incon team.
I did a story for a magazine called Marine Electronics Journal on the evolution of electronics in offshore powerboat racing, and TJ at the Dirty Money team showed me their stuff. Then I talked with Shane at Motec, who was working with Tyler Miller and his team at the time. It was last year in Clearwater, and yeah, I didn't even know some of the stuff that was going on, and you think, oh well, it's just carbureted engines in a supercat. How technological could it be? There's a lot in there that people don't realize.
Well, with the head rules that changed a few years ago, now you really, it's critical. The heads to the cam lift to the carburetor. You can open up the carburetor. You can open up the morning of the race, and rejet the thing in supercat. But you're not doing that with these Mercury engines.
No, you can't
we're
touch
seeing
them.
Race here today. Wondering if the APBA Offshore Commissioner could join us. Ryan Beckley, going to step up to the microphone, a longtime super stock racer, and good to have him with us. We've had a little bit of excitement here, unexpected. I'm not exactly sure that that's the right description for what a red flag is, but certainly not in the first incident. We had a couple of boats collide and in a minor incident, but it did stop the racing. But a spectator boat or a boat of some sort ended up on the course and red flagged the start of our Class 1 UIM and Super Stock races. Ryan, good to see you.
Thanks, Todd. Happy to be here.
Nice to have the APBA UIM leg of racing get underway here in Atlantic City. Good to be back here.
Yeah, there's a lot of racing history here in Atlantic City, so it is super cool to be back here. I think I was here in 1993 was the last time I was here for an APBA national race.
Yeah, I think if you go to a site that you work on, the Offshore Vintage site, the YouTube, you might find like the 87 and 88, 89, races here, which are really, you go back, you look at the hair back then, you look at the styles, the boats. I mean, it's pretty nostalgic, but that was a great time in offshore racing. And in 89, it was actually the APBA UIM World Championship here in Atlantic City.
Yeah, in 89, they had a huge race here for the World Championships, and it turned out to be a super rough, cold, nasty week, and a week full of tragedy and accidents and rough water.
Did. As we look at Super Stock, a class that you're very close to, and so pan across at the Class 1 boats here, really amazing turnout. I think more than what was expected here in Atlantic City for the very first time, organized by Race World Offshore.
Yeah, well, when APBA and Atlantic City got together early in the year, Atlantic City came to APBA and said, hey, we want to put on a big race here in Atlantic City, and we want to make things happen. And APBA worked together with Race World and everybody there and put this together. And it's been a tumultuous year, but it's turned out to be an amazing turnout with just about 50 boats here in Atlantic City. So I'm sure everybody's happy to see that.
Ryan, last year when APBA was looking for leadership, you stepped forward. I'm not exactly sure you were expecting that, and you're still a pretty young guy, but you're passionate about the sport. You've raced your entire life, grew up in Key West, and it's a big step forward to be the offshore racing chair, the commissioner, and it's been I want to talk to you about that here over the course of this race, about what that meant for you to step forward. But we're going to get to racing. We had the first try went south due to a spectator boat on the course. They got them lined up once again. The Class 1 boats nearest to the pace boat, and our 4 Superstock competitors to the outside.
You're way ahead of me.
So we're hearing from the pace boat that
Owen's getting a little anxious.
So 7-4, which would have been the ex-insurance team.
Yep.
Bad decisions. No pun intended. So these boats will line up. The 2 boats to the inside are the UIM Class 1 boats. Good shot from the ex-insurance.
We got a green flag.
So the green flag is out, and you'll watch our twin 1100 Mercury engine turbocharged QC4Vs pull away from the twin 300 ROS engines of the Super Stock.
And we've got 2 Doug Wrights, a Victory, and a Wicked in Superstock, and the Wicked is flying out in the farthest lane out. HBS is a brand new team with Sloan and Hampton Langston. Sloan's throttling, right?
Right, Sloan is throttling. His older brother Hampton is driving. Yep.
So we see the discreet offshore team. That's a 50-foot Mystic with
Adam Carpenter and Reese Langheim.
Yep,
in their pink shoes.
Tighter line around by Bill Pyburn Racing. Britt Lilly on the wheel. 45 victory out on their first lap. These boats are quite a marvel with the big power of the turbocharged 1100 QC 4V engine. Many victory hulls, but also a skater race when all the teams get together. And it's nice to see a Mystic back out there this year. And here are your super stock boats. With the X Insurance Bad Decisions boat, Cameron Turk and Owen Buis taking the early lead.
Yeah, that boat was that's the old Big East boat. Last year, that boat was nearly unstoppable. It won just about every race and every championship other than Key West. But these boys really have had a limited time in it this year and a couple races missed. And now they're going early on right to the front of the pack.
This is a good opportunity for them to just keep getting more seat time and get a good run in the boat before they see a much bigger fleet at Michigan City.
Well, it's quite a family affair at Superstock today. So you have two friends out front, two young kids out front in the X Insurance boat. You have two brothers in the next boat, and then father and son in the Speed Marine boat, Speedmaster Marine performance boat out of Long Island.
The Dominos.
The Dominos, John and Mike.
And here we see Britt doing his thing, defending that buoy line as tight as he can, but Reese is still trying to get inside him in the Class 1 race. Bobby Adams and TJ and all the boys at Bill Pyburn Racing and Dirty Money Shop, kudos to them for getting this boat ready. I was told they did not get much time to do it. But Bill also told me, well, the one thing he doesn't really like to hear is no. So.
Boat's bouncing. I mean, this is a 45-foot hull.
Yeah, that's the same spot where every time in testing this morning we saw a couple boats take some good flyers. It's just off of these partial piers on the beach, and there just must be a little bit of a rut or a hole or something there.
So we're seeing unofficially that boat turn that lap at about 103 miles an hour. Not know exactly if it's 4 or 4.2 miles, but right in that 103 to 105 miles. Of course, the boats are, they're going to have to slow in the turns, and then once they get into the straightaways, they're going to air it out, fill the tunnel up with air. They, I don't think either boat has the use of a tunnel tab, but other boats in Class 1 that have the ability to use the tunnel tabs will pack that air and get extra speed down the straightaways. And there's your leader in Superstock class as they come through lap number 1. That's X Insurance.
Yeah, with the X Insurance helicopter flying alongside, providing these great shots. So I'm sure Rick Lindsay is happy to see his livery out in front in Superstock.
Yeah, those boys are doing a great job. I was sitting there talking to them this morning right before they went out, and they got a couple laps in. I know Owen's dad isn't here, so he's an anxious wreck, and he was calling everybody there to see what was going on, and they were adding some weight and trying to get the balance just right. It looks like they've hit the setup pretty well for this ocean race here in Atlantic City.
As we watch the Bill Pyburn Racing team move away and now going into that wide turn on the south end into their second lap. Off camera, we saw the leaders come through in the 10-lap race. Superstock, Bad Decisions, X Insurance 1. Number 2 in the class was
HBS
Motorsports.
And then it was neck. It was deck to deck with the other two for third and fourth.
Yeah,
so.
just a nose ahead was Hook Racing, powered by ProFlex and the Speed Master Performance boat.
And HBS is a power sports and motorsports. They have a few different locations in the Myrtle Beach area. They've also got some custom Mercedes-Benz vehicles over in the pits. I met the dad, Gary, right?
Yep. Gary's the father, and HBS is Hampton, Blair, and Sloan, the three brothers. And,
okay.
Blair does most of their social media for their dealerships that are in Florence, Myrtle Beach, and Lexington, South Carolina.
All right, through on lap number 2 of 7, you see Bill Pyburn Racing and Discreet running 1-2. Discreet not far behind on that lap, just 2.66 seconds off the leader. The Victory in the lead, the Mystic Power Discreet in second, 2 seconds off the lead.
So are you getting the call to do the new wrap on that boat, or?
No, they have a wrap company that works with them out of Jacksonville, I believe, where Bill's from. And they've done a great job of doing deliveries. I just think they ran out of time to get a whole wrap done on it.
I wonder if there will be any Mobile X representation with Darren involved.
Right,
Because he has that sponsorship over in Australia.
You see your leader, formerly the 222 Offshore team, Darren Nicholson, who will be partnering the rest of the season with Bill Pyburn in BPR Racing here stateside. First to pair up in Michigan City, the next race of the APBA UIM World Series in Michigan City, Indiana. Go to raceworldoffshore.com for the schedule of events.
Yeah, and here's the battle for 3rd and 4th with the Dominos are on the inside in the Speedmaster boat, and the hook with Todd DePhillips and James Markovitz. They just call him Marco. But this is the Doug Wright out of Long Island, New York. They do most of the, Michael was telling me they do most of the rigging on the Doug Wrights, the pleasure boats in the Northeast.
Yeah, Michael's been doing it for a long time. He followed in his father's footsteps. His dad raced for many years out of the Northeast in boats like Armed and Dangerous and B-52s. And John lives in Cape Coral now, and Michael still lives in Long Island. And they are, this is only like their 3rd or 4th race out in that boat.
And they're here with Mike Gagliano, who used to be on the crew for Ocean Outboard.
Yep, there's our hook racing team powered by ProFlex. Special thanks to the Claridge Hotel, who helped sponsor that boat here in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Now, for anyone who's like, how come the super stocks are running more laps than the Class 1 boats? That's because the Class 1 boats are doing it again tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah, the super stocks are running 10 laps today, about 50 miles. So that's about what these boats like to run. The guys like to get in them, and they generally run in the 40 to 60 mile range. So they're out there doing 10 laps today, and these guys are still side by side a few laps in, the Doug Wright and the Wicked.
Yeah, we watch our Class 1 boat and almost double in size. Seemed like it, not quite practically true, but certainly with the extra massive power, the QC4V 1100 turbocharged engines, BPR, Bill Pyburn Racing, Britt Lilly, Bill Pyburn looking good in this first ride in the 45-foot Victory out on their 3rd lap here.
Yeah, much like sports car racing, you do see different classes on the track at the same time.
It was a little nerve-wracking. A lot of these guys in the super stock boats were a little worried about how the closing rate, and it was great that they made it abundantly clear that the Class 1 boats had to go by the super stocks on the outside. So, once they get into like this corner here at the south end, it's the wake off the big boats is challenging for the super stock boats to get around the corners, and especially when you get behind 2 of them and the wake crosses up, you really want to pick a lane and steer through it and get around the corner.
A little groundswell there, and the nose getting a bit high.
Yeah, and but it's also up to the super stock boats to kind of stay to the inside to give the to let the Class 1 boats do what they're supposed to do on the outside. So there's some give and take for each group to make that happen, and they're doing a good job.
Yeah, the HBS, they're getting to feel that boat. Brand new season for them. Brand new learning curve.
Yeah, today was the first time the 2 brothers had been in the boat together. So
you see the BPR racing team coming through its next lap. Only a couple of seconds behind is Discreet Racing.
Yeah.
So they're making it a close race.
And that's a much bigger boat, especially in these conditions. You'd think it would be a bigger disadvantage.
You can see that lead, down to a couple of seconds as they go through the north turn. But Pyburn really getting a good torque curve there. Was able to pull lead out just a bit further. Discreet dove to the inside, trying to look for some clean water there. Running in second place.
It almost looks like the old Bud Dry logo from when Dave Scott had the boat.
Well, yeah, at one point it would have been black and red with Bud Select on it.
Our Bud Select.
Yeah, and then it was Bud Light. It changed back and forth with 2 different of the Anheuser-Busch liveries.
Wasn't that Bacardi at one point too?
I'm not sure that one ever was Bacardi.
Okay.
I'm not positive. They had, had gotten really close, but it looks like Pyburn and Britt Lilly definitely have put the coals to it again and
Yes.
pulled out heading south there on the outside leg.
Someone on shore said, give it to it, Bill.
Yeah, for sure.
Give yourself a little room.
The boys in the Statement X Insurance boat, Team Bad Decisions have definitely pulled out a little bit too in the super stock class. They're pulling away just a bit. Owen and Cameron are doing a great job out there.
Yeah, Owen just really seems to have, well, it's one of those things where he's just in a boat all the time, and you can see that he's just got a feel.
Yeah, he grew up in the boats. His dad had him in a Class 7 boat at 14 with his buddy Dalton. And Owen grew up in boats. And his dad, Nick Buis, who owns Statement Marine, he spent his whole life growing up around it. And he's showing that his seat time in boats, the boat has a great attitude going north up the beach right now. And BPR is going to slide alongside of them right now and give them a little flyby.
Well, the cool thing was when he did that activator, the 22, Owen had to go in and strip all the old, he put on the Tyvek suit, stripped out all the old coring and stuff, and Nick made him do the work.
Yeah.
So he learned the race boat stuff the hard, not just the easy way, but the itchy hard way too.
Definitely the itchy way.
Led from start to finish here. BPR Racing back through in front of the fans here. Steel Pier. X Insurance Racing continuing to lead. 16 seconds off the pace in second, HBS Motorsports.
We got a yellow flag we just heard in turn 2.
It looks like Discreet is down in the middle of the corner down there.
Oh, okay.
Looking from where we're at, they're right in the middle of the corner down on
down at the south turn.
Down off plane right now.
Yep.
Looks like they're trying to get on plane right now. I don't know if they stalled it there or
Guardian. Pace possibly.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go to the inside of the
Yeah,
course
they're
right
just
there.
You can see them pulling
inside. Yeah, and then we still got a great battle going on there for the other 2 super stocks. They are side by side still.
No doubt. Good shot there. The smallest boat in the fleet, the 28 wicket to the right of your screen. The Domingos, father and son team. Looked like they had pulled closer on the outside leg.
Now here comes Hook.
And the Hook Racing team, powered by ProFlex, sponsored locally by the Clare Ridge Hotel, continuing to hold third.
Yeah, those guys have run a very limited schedule, and that boat didn't see the course at all last year. It's great to see Todd and Marco back at it. Marco, a TV personality in his own right, does a lot of fishing shows on ESPN and many other channels, and helped produce a lot of footage and social media for the super stock class and some other teams that had been racing. So it's pretty neat to see him in the saddle racing with these guys and bringing sponsors like Hook into offshore racing.
Absolutely. So we'll see PPR Racing coming back through. A nice day for them here in the first of 2 days of racing in the UIM Class 1 series.
I think we just heard that HBS might be down at the other end of the course. I heard boat number 7.
That's 07. That Discreet is 07.
Oh, okay. Just because, well, HBS is S7, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
There are a lot of 7s out on the course in different races here today.
We can keep an eye out. But don't want anything to happen to anybody.
From the X Insurance Helicam, there's your leader, Bad Decisions X Insurance S74 in Super Stock, racing 10 laps here today.
Yeah, I see them coming by right now.
Oh, yep.
And then the HBS is still running just behind them there, so they are still running. But
comfortable gap, but still a great great run for the Langstons. First time in the boat together. I mean, they probably gone out and practiced, but first race.
They got a couple laps in this morning, but that was the first time they had run the boat together.
Did you give them any pointers?
We were down there talking, and plus they have the boat's old owner down there as crew chief this weekend, really helping out. So,
and
Father Gary's down there with them, but
Pete Pagino,
and and then Blair is here as well. The B and HBS is here, and their whole family. Mom's here as well, Miss Crystal. So cheering them on. I'm sure she's a wreck watching the boys race today.
So I'd have to. I mean, we're going to talk about your role with APBA, but you'd have spent time in that boat this year, as well as they picked up a factory 500 boat. And your passion obviously is racing, but that HBS boat. The old Shadow Pirate, and as we look from the X Insurance Helicam at the leader in Super Stock with X Insurance, and Owen Buis and Cameron Turk. Yep. But the bottom, the old Coco's Monkey boat, obviously, with the Porte running surface. What were your opinions about after driving traditional bottom? Did you notice a difference in the bottom when you were driving, when you were throttling that boat?
Oh, for sure. It'll hook up going around a corner. It's just a whole different lesson to learn of how that boat will turn compared to a normal Doug Wright or even my old skater. It's a whole different learning experience, especially with a student young driver at 16. And several of the races we ran it within were extremely rough. So that's when the bottom doesn't quite affect it as much.
Yeah, Speedmaster Performance looking good here with the Domingos. Here's your overall leader. And looking at the leaderboard, HBS still running in second, just talking about them. And it's so good to see Pete Pagino.
Yeah.
And he was with you. You guys were going out to lunch the other day. I'm like, you're back. Yeah. And he's like, well, yeah, I'm going to come and be a spectator. Love Pete, AJ, and the entire family. Good to see them as we watch Class 1 come through. Your winner, leading start to finish, the BPR race team, Bill Pyburn on the throttles and Britt Lilly on the wheel.
Not a bad maiden voyage.
Not at all. The 45-foot victory hole. Winning a UIM Class 1 presented by X Insurance. First race under Race World Offshore, APBA UIM here in Atlantic City. We're going to wait for our super stock boats to come back through. Just about finished. Still got a few laps to go, and there's your leader. What a day for them.
Yeah. I wonder if they might, do you think they might knock a couple laps off the super stock race? Because he's so far out front.
I don't know. I mean, those guys were originally intended to come here and run both days, so it was kind of a split decision amongst the class. And some guys really wanted to run 2 days, so I hope they run the whole event. And
it's only 2 more laps.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Great
when
shot.
When you come this far to run one of these races and then you race a 30-minute race, you want to race the whole race.
Yeah.
Well, is it Nick that's over in Croatia celebrating his anniversary?
I believe so, yeah, because that's who was calling everybody in the pits this morning when the boys were getting ready to go out and trying to set the boat up. But JJ, Cameron's dad, was there as well, keeping an eye on things.
Well, Nick, Priscilla, happy anniversary.
Your leader in super stock, and they've been out front the entire way. So tell us how excited it is to get the season underway for American Powerboat Association, merged up once again here in the United States with the UIM.
Yeah, it's great. It seems like it took forever. The other side of the season started so early, it made it seem like it was even longer. We're only a month in to what normally would have been our race season starting in May. But, you know, everybody behind the scenes, John Marie from UIM and everyone from Race World and everybody at APBA really worked hard to put this event together, and it was a great opportunity for Atlantic City to bring national powerboat racing back to the beach here.
Wicked now in second place. It looks like the HBS boat has fallen off pace, looking at the unofficial scoring from Race World. And Speedmaster is in second. Are they in second now?
No, because HBS. There's a glitch.
is still out there.
They
running.
are still out there.
Yeah,
we missed them.
They're
Did not see them on the camera.
Because if you see
So
the rooster tail all the way at the south turn, that's X Insurance bad decisions, and then the rooster tail going into the turn is HBS.
All right, so this is still the battle for.
This is still the battle for the final podium spot.
Got it.
And Hook got out to a little bit of a lead there.
Yeah, he definitely put it down there on that last straightaway heading north here. But still out front, Owen Buez and Cameron Turk doing a great job here in laying down the lap.
The unflappable Owen Buez. You watch the onboard footage of the kid.
I know.
He just doesn't flinch. He's just so solid.
Yeah, he's doing a great job there. They're coming around at the finish line right now. I don't know if there's one more lap to go, but they're coming by the pier right now.
I have them on the white flag lap right now. So
coming by the pier, and HBS is about 20 seconds behind right now. Sloan Langston on the throttles with Hampton Langston, his older brother, at the wheel, and they're hanging it out, running really well.
What is the what's the biggest thing a young throttleman should learn?
It's tricky in water like this because you think it's flat and it's not. And you can see how the boat's running right now. It's slightly over trimmed for the condition.
Yep.
And flying a little more, especially that boat. That boat in particular likes to run flatter than it's running right now. But they're doing a great job to stay in it. And two brothers, I'm sure those two brothers are arguing a little bit, but you see it hopping like that a little bit. I'm not sure where they put the weight in the morning. I gave them a suggestion, but I'm not sure where it is. And I know they were talking about adding propeller right before they went out, and I don't know if they changed propellers to put a little faster setup on it or not.
Well, there you see them 37 seconds off. So they are in second. That's official here. And
well, the thing, too, I mean, Hampton hasn't been doing this long.
No, this is Hampton's third race.
He just went through kind of a harrowing situation out at Lake of the Ozarks.
You could say that.
How was his mindset after that?
He is calm, cool, and collected all the time, and it's very hard to read, just like Dad is. Mr. Gary is very hard to read. And Hampton, even in the super rough race we were in, he was go, 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 and rock solid.
So, in other words, don't play poker with either one of them.
No, I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
So down the beach, we're looking off camera. There's your number 3 boat.
Number 3.
As they are in third place, Hook Racing powered by ProFlex, with Todd DePhillips, John Marco on board, the 28 Wicked. And running the Mercury ROS package there, the low profile engines that were debuted this year in the class.
And the Dominos are not far behind.
Yeah, John and Mike are right there. Mike's on the throttles in the Speedmaster performance boat, and Dad John is at the wheel. And I know it's a little difficult for Mike to probably run the boat as hard as he would if he had a younger kid at the wheel instead of his well-seasoned pops, Sonny is like I like to call him.
Well, they both told me they call Babylon home. And there's another pretty good offshore racing family from Babylon by the last name of Impressia.
Right. They all grew up together, knew each other very well, and Mike is everybody in Long Island knows Mike Domino and all those guys. There's 9 Class 7 boats here going to race tomorrow, and he's got a hand in a lot of those and knows a lot of those guys as well.
And there's X Insurance bad decisions as they come around. That should be the final lap for them today. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I've got.
And it should be a checkered flag
should be
here
coming to it,
in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Here, the first race of the APBA UIM Series. There's the Hook Marine team, the Hook Racing team powered by ProFlex. The ROS engine, do you have the opportunity to drive them?
I haven't yet.
Not yet,
and so HBS still has the old 20-inch motors, and I know they have a set of ROSs. I believe they think they're getting this week, and they'll at one of their dealerships in South Carolina, they're going to install the motors themselves, and hopefully at Michigan City they'll have the new motors on the boat. It will help that boat a little bit, get a little lower center of gravity. The Speedmaster does have the newer engines as well. Mike was one of the first boats to get them there on Speedmaster.
Well, I just think it's pretty cool. I mean, Hook is fishing apparel and equipment, right?
Right, and
so to have them sponsoring an offshore boat.
For sure.
And yeah, ProFlex. Is that also fishing equipment?
I am not sure what it is.
Or is that, I wonder if it's like a power pole or something.
I don't know.
Speedmaster is cruising around. Great to see Domingo back into the cockpit, and the father and son team now teaming up in super stock class. We're hearing race control with some visibility issues starting to roll in.
Yeah, it looks like it's raining at the south end.
Well, this weather is definitely much better than what was anticipated.
Yeah.
Early in the
Yes.
week, I was dreading how today was going to go, and the whole weekend in Atlantic City has turned out to be a great surprise. The weather, the boat turnout, the count, everything's been amazing. We're so happy to have the Atlantic City Sports Commission and Visit AC and everybody that's helped make this happen has done an amazing job, and we're very happy to get these races in despite what the weather was forecast.
James Marco and Todd DePhillips, the 28-foot Wicked with the twin Mercury ROS engines. Looks like they're going to take the third place finish here today in front of the Steel Pier on the boardwalk, Atlantic City, New Jersey, here in super stock. 10 laps out there on the waters of the Atlantic, and nice day for James and Todd out there today in the Hook-powered team.
Yeah, these guys, these super stock boats are running just over 100 right here, where in flat, calm water, they'll run in the 100 teens, 115 in really good conditions, 120, like set up to just go top speed. So I know they're running just over 100 miles an hour, probably 105.
If you look closely at that Speedmaster boat, the map of Long Island is ghosted behind the logo.
You don't say. I wonder who did the graphics on that and who might have designed that paint job.
Would that have been you?
Maybe.
Nice job. They just pointed it out to me yesterday.
Yeah, I was pointing it to somebody.
It.
I was pointing it out to somebody this morning. I'm like, "Do you see the squiggly lines on there?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's Long Island." I'm like, "Oh, good. So you get it."
The Speedmaster takes fourth here today. Appreciate all the super stock teams that have come to Atlantic City to join us for this weekend back in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Our next race will be Super Cat factory stock and Super V boats. Getting a 5-minute warning to come out for the last race of the day. You gonna stick around and stay with us, or you?
Yeah, I came up here to, I didn't come up here just to flatten my gums. I actually came up as the APBA chief referee and commissioner to pay attention to what was going on and see how the racing was. But I'm glad to be on air with y'all.
We've had some good shots, some great shots from up here. It's a bit of a challenging landscape to film. We're up pretty high, by the way. We're on the 18th floor at the Showboat Hotel, and also having shots from the X Insurance Helicam. It doesn't hurt. It's good to have Rick Lindsay and Neil Millis back to join us. And we're also being broadcast not only at the Race World Offshore's Facebook page and YouTube channels, but on the X Insurance YouTube channel as well. Push out a lot of really good media. It's kind of amazing where we come in this sport, Ryan, with social media and all of the different platforms from the teams. They're producing a lot of great stuff. X Insurance has done that in the past. Dirty Money and other teams as well. There's just always something turning up outside on social media that keeps people engaged in the sport.
Oh, for sure. There's all these teams, not all of them, but many of the teams have their own content providers and people doing their social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, including, we have our own Superstock page that we run on both Facebook and Instagram, and try to do it ourselves. And there's a lot of people, teams doing it, just spreading the word about offshore, which is great. It's the more people that see it, it's the better for all of racing in general.
Yeah, we look at our.
Are these guys going to lap these?
Yeah, but I think they're on bonus laps right now already. I'm pretty sure that.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought they were done.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just running bonus laps. But, man.
Which is a no-no.
Yeah, as a former Superstock class representative, I mean, it's got to spin your head where this class has come.
Well, it's come around a long way. It used to be really good. Back in the 80s, there was 16 24 skaters or 25 motions or 25 talons out there racing. So to get back to that status, you know, there was 4, 5, 6 boats for many years, but Gary Ballou and I kept racing and kept guys involved. And Gary Forever, who throttles for Cole Leibel and the Ray Marine boat, and myself, we were at all the races for years. And then there was a couple other boats here and there. And then when guys like Bill Allen got involved in super stock racing and really pushed it and having new guys come on board, and yeah, we're proud of it. We like to brag about our class and say it's the best racing in offshore. And when we have 15, 16, 18 boats, there's a chance by Key West you could see 20 boats. So later in the year, it should be better.
When you were here last, were you in a super stock boat?
No, but I was here with a super stock team. Actually, I was here with a boat called Team Florida that was run by Tad Kimes, was the throttle man, and my mullet buddy. The Team Florida was a 24 skater. It was the ex-Crime Buster boat. Ed Spaeth was the owner and throttle man, and Tad Kimes was his driver. And I skipped my high school prom to come to the boat races here and watch the boat races here at 18 in 1993.
And who ran the 30 motion? His name was Tim.
Tim Steiner, who's a good friend of mine, still lives in Naples. But that was much later. Tim originally, some people, old timers might remember, Tim ran a 25 talon called Tiger Cat with a pair of OMC outboards on it. Wow. And was one of the last guys to race OMC outboards.
Yeah, because I remember when I left Powerboat in '99, and the stock boats at that time, you know, it was like Mobile One,
right?
Dave Thomas.
Well, my partner, Chris Lamort in Offshore Vintage, was at a poker run in North Carolina last week, and he ran with Rob Loeffler, who owned Mobile One, in Rob Loeffler's one of the original How Sweet It Is 28 skaters, the way it came from the Mercury factory. And Chris got to drive that all week with Rob Loeffler, who before it was Mobile One, raced a boat called Sundance Skater, a 24 skater in the super stock class, and he was national champion a few years in a row.
Well, I was at the Katawa run a few weeks back, and I think one of the guys has the old Citrashine boat that was converted to a pleasure boat, the wide body one.
Yeah, that would have been a different boat because sadly the Citrashine boat, there you see the X-Insurance 74 still out there running laps. These guys are just happy to be out front, but I don't know how many. I hope they don't run out of fuel and come out underweight because they've run so many extra laps.
That's definitely something that they should be concerned with. Maybe they took extra fuel. I don't know.
Well, HBS probably run out of gas.
And
these guys are all going to run out of gas. You cut the fuel as close as you can, and they're not paying attention to laps, and they're going to be really disappointed if they come out underweight because they did extra laps.
But they were told not to run extra laps in the driver's meeting, too.
Yeah, but... Yeah.
Race control.
Yeah, race control is trying to stop these boats that are running.
Yeah, we're hearing them in the headset. The guys, the checker flags been passed out. You need to stop.
Well, they've already given out the 5-minute to the next race.
Right, the other boats are coming out. So we got more racing coming up here at Atlantic City Sports, Offshore Grand Prix. Got our Super Cat teams coming through. Also Super V out to race here this afternoon. Youthful exuberance. It's a wonderful thing.
For sure, especially when you're winning your first ever super stock race after.
Yeah, you know they got to be just excited inside that cockpit, man.
For sure.
So when do we see young Connor in a race boat?
Well, my son Connor, who's probably listening to this right now.
Hey, Connor.
He doesn't turn 14 till next year, and as most of you all know, he's full on BMX right now, and that's his goal. We're actually going to Australia next month for the World Championships with him.
Oh, cool!
Get out of here. That's awesome.
Now, is that Olympic? Because
it is Olympic, and it is scholarships. There's cycling programs in colleges, so there is some future in BMX racing. So Connor does that, but he loves powerboat racing, and every chance we get to run our 24 skater pleasure boat, he loves to drive that thing now, just like his brother Chris did before him. And Chris was driving the boat at 11, 12, and now Connor's driving the 24 skater. And Connor's driven several of these race boats. When we were running the Celsius boat with Chris Hopgood, Connor test drove the Celsius boat when it had new motors put on it.
All right.
And Chris is a pilot, right?
Chris is a fireman, EMT in Polk County, and a pilot. Yep.
Super cool stuff. You're listening to the Race World Offshore live stream presented by Maximum Inflation. The new Maximus Quick Tire Inflation Kit by Maximum Inflation is the only U.S.-made valve that uses CO2 cartridges for your side-by-side, motorcycle, or ATV. Your machine got you there. The Maximus Quick Tire Inflation Kit gets you home. I want to also thank Bally's Atlantic City, Caesars, the Golden Nugget, Harrah's, Showboat Resort, Tropicana as well, and Visit Atlantic City as our sponsors here locally in the races here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. All right, we're going to take a quick time out, and more coming up here from the Atlantic City Offshore Grand Prix. We'll come back with the final race of the day. Still more racing coming up Sunday here. We'll come right back.
Experience summer in Atlantic City. Create memory-making moments in Atlantic City. Book your stay today.
The all-new Bally's Atlantic City has new rooms, new restaurants, and more.
Enjoy a night of fine dining at Park Place Prime, where Jerry Longo's meatballs and martinis.
Then stay in our brand new Bally's Hotel Tower, inspired by the heart and soul of the AC Beach and Boardwalk.
These contemporary and clean rooms are reflective of the bright and soothing coastline.
So book your stay today. Visit Bally'sAC.com.
Plus, don't miss happy hour at Park Place Prime or Phil's Carousel Bar.
When you're looking for a change of scenery, there's 3 spots for those out on the town views, those relaxed views, and those make you feel alive views. They're just what you crave. When you're down the shore, and they're all only a drive away. So, plan your Atlantic City getaway, where indulgence and luxury meet endless summer vibes.
Atlantic City Sports presenting the Atlantic City Offshore Grand Prix here. As you look at the boardwalk, the steel pier, into our final race of the day, before coming back tomorrow noon for 3 more great races here off the beaches and casinos of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Todd Swafford, along with Eric Colby of Speed on the Water, and Ryan Beckley and the American Powerboat Association to get us through this final race of the day. It's not exactly the weather we expected, gentlemen. We don't have those high winds and high waves. We got light conditions out there on the seas, and the rain that we expected to possibly fall this afternoon hasn't fallen, and it's pretty calm out there, guys. A little rain offshore. He's seeing quite possibly even there is some rain moving through the area. Ryan Beckley pulling the radar up right now. So
HBS is out of fuel.
I spoke too soon.
Not my first day.
Yeah, no. Brian called that. So they're going to get towed back.
Let's run 15 laps for a 10-lap race.
They weren't even out there running the party laps. I mean, the other guys were. So, I mean.
I'm glad Pipo Gino was the crew chief today and not me.
Yes, sir. All right, we've got our Super Cats coming up. And, I mean, Super Cats, since 2012, it's been an exciting brand of offshore racing, the most, competitive of the big engine classes. And, in talking to some of the team owners, there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of boats out there that just haven't been able to to get their teams together, and nearly half a dozen racing so far this year. We've got 3 here in Atlantic City, but as many as 11 team owners on the team call. So we expect that by the World Championships in Key West, presented by Race World Offshore, we could have double-digit boats there, and Dirty Money has been the 2-time defending world champion in Super Cat class. They're going to be out here racing here today with Wicked and a new team out there, the How To Live boat with Mike Howe, famous from his YouTube channel, and Cade Wilson of Sterling Engines. So we should have a very competitive trio out there to watch, Eric, in the Super Cat class.
Oh yeah, the How to Live crew up in my neck of the woods, up in Maine, do some crazy stuff with tanks, and he and his brother have designed some really cool military application items. But like we said before, the Super V boats, you got the DSK.
Yep, they'll be out
with Rob Lockyer and Tim Linden in the Outer Limits. But kind of late arrivals were the Smiths from Brick, New Jersey, and the Was Up boat, the all-white Fountain. I believe that's a 40. And so we're looking forward to seeing and hearing them run. People always love to hear the big V bottoms with the big pipes. And then Team Montlick, the Class 2 Factory 500 powered 38-foot Dug-Right catamaran, will be running solo in their 38 with Giovanni Carpatella on the throttles and Logan Adon driving. So we had hoped probably for a couple more boats in that class, but I know Michelle Carcenti was waiting on some parts. Troy Hannon at Supreme Marine said they still needed some things. They were hoping to be here, but they're planning on Michigan City, because I know Mr. Carcenti is a big supporter of UIM and the affiliation and thinks a lot of that. So we're looking forward to seeing him soon.
And again, the X Insurance Class 1 World Championship, I mean, it's also teamed up with an announcement that came out a couple of months ago, where Class 200, the Factory 500 class, being recognized globally as well as APBA Super Cats, and the potential of that expanding somewhere down the line, with the UIM, of course, addressing the race teams here. You know, talking about everybody kind of wondering, I think there was some question as to what was going on when, you know, you made commitments, Ryan, for Atlantic City 5 weeks ago, but since then so much has gone on. I think the turnout here was better than we expected, really, ultimately.
Oh, for sure. There's been a lot of drama this year, sadly. But even, like, we know that the pre-registration list was not what we had hoped. And honestly, I came up here myself saying it would be pretty good if we got 30 boats, and we have almost 50 here. So it's great. Couple last-minute entries that showed up. That's great to show the sport, and great for the city of Atlantic City and Race World and APBA all together, and UIM, of course.
Yeah.
Feels a little like Ocean City 2 years ago.
Yes, it does. And, I mean, historically, you know, these type of races, I think it's good to have them. Too many times we have flat water races, like all year. It is offshore racing. Trying to get it mixed, you know, in. You know, you're going somewhere down the line, you know, you race in places, ocean races like this, like in Cocoa Beach. You might have an off year where you don't have the bump, but, you know, eventually you're going to catch it in a place like Atlantic City. And shows like that are, you know, amazing for the fans as well. It's great to see the speed, but to see the boats do what they were made to do and to jump the waves, it really does make it exciting for all the teams.
And for a lot of it, the big water races like Cocoa Beach really equalizes some of it and separates some of the others. So it's interesting. I like the rough water. I think most people know that. So it's great to see. And historically, even like St. Petersburg earlier this year, that turned out to be a race that nobody would have bet as rough as it was.
Sure.
As nasty as it got. So it is. It's great. It's funny to come back here to an ocean race that's this calm right now. Well,
you never know. I mean, certainly I wasn't expecting this at all. And, you know, going back to that Ocean City race a couple years ago, you thought about it and like, you know, it's really not as rough as you think here. But a course like that, I mean,
and then Gladiator went over right at the start.
Right, and it was, and you talked to any of the boats that race in that race, and they're like, it was tough.
Yeah.
You know, it's certainly a lot more of an ocean swell there than there was here. But you're always going to get those aspects when you come to sites like Atlantic City, New Jersey. Excited to be back and look forward to being back next year. We heard one of the great supporters. We heard from one of the great supporters of the event, Ken Adams, the director of operations at Golden Nugget. He addressed the teams this morning at the meeting and said really looks forward to having everyone back next year. So we're waiting for the teams to get out onto the water while the Superstock boats were doing some extra laps. They were telling them to push off from the dock and to get out here, but we haven't seen them pass out and pass down towards where the milling circle is as of yet.
That's looking the 07 boat.
I'm looking at a Facebook post by the 07 boat that I am looking at on your phone there. A lot of damage to the 07 boat, class 400.
Busted out the windshield on the port side and that must have been a heck of a hit.
Yeah, I actually watched. I was standing out on the front porch when that happened, and they had hopped through the wake of another boat, and it looked like Shocker had spun out right in front of them, and they met at the impact point, sadly.
Wow. Yeah, and they just radioed also. I've been hearing on the radio that the Discreet boat's been taken on water.
Has it?
Yeah, so they had to divert some assets, but they do have the next race on the water.
We have some Supercats going out now. The next race is going by the pier right now on the offshore, the downshore leg, I should say. I see Tim Linden and Rob Lockley are going by in the DSK outer limits.
The V-bottom.
The Wicked 40 motion out there with the Muller father and son team. And How to Live, Mike and Cade right beside them.
And Dirty Money.
And Dirty Money behind them. The only one we don't see is Ed and Anthony Smith just yet coming.
Yep.
I can't quite see
Montlick
him yet.
is out by itself. And so we are waiting for Was Up. But maybe they're just making an entrance.
Yeah, there they are. They're coming on screen now. I just see them. So great to have Anthony and Ed Smith back here racing. They live just up the road. Their business is up in Brick, but they live somewhere between here and there. And they were last minute and showing their support for a great local race site in their home state of New Jersey.
Yeah, and Speed Marine's based out of Brick, too.
There's a lot of companies. Speed Marine is located, that's Kyle Miller's business, but Speed Marine is located in what used to be Kurt's Marine Shop, which
Kurt Berger.
Kurt Berger ran a shop there. That before Kurt, it was Roger's Speed Shop, I believe, Roger Munn. So they're in a shop that has decades of history.
Bandit racing engines.
Smokey and the Bandit, world champion. 1985, Kurt Berger and his brother Steve in the boat, and Rob Weinstein were in the boat back then. So it's great to come back. Like I keep saying, broken record, but the history of powerboat racing in New Jersey and all the teams and great race sites such as Point Pleasant or Seaside or here in Atlantic City. Very neat to be back here, and it was super cool for the city of Atlantic City come to APBA and say, hey, we really want to have a world-class event, offshore race back in Atlantic City. How do we make that happen? And between Dana at APBA and Roderick and Larry and everybody that put the time and effort in to make this happen, it's great that we're here and able to have all these world-class teams here in Atlantic City.
Now we just need an Aoki.
Yeah. Steve Aoki, Rocky's son, has been approached many times, and he is doing something with the E1 series. But they did try to get him in on board of restoring some of his dad's older boats, and he didn't really seem that interested in it.
Well, one of the guys I met here who's raced one of the Ultimate Boat Racing Experience boats. Have you met him from Louisiana, David Bruges?
Yeah.
And he's got one of Al Copeland's boats.
Yeah, a 46 Skater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, as these boats get ready to mill, why don't you get us the lineup for this final race here on this Saturday. Again, back with 3 more here Sunday beginning at noon in Atlantic City. But here's our third heat of the day.
For the Super Cat boats, the Mullers will have the inside lane in Wicked. Dirty Money with Britt Lilly and Bill Pyburn with the Goodwin Competition Power will be in lane 2. And How to Live with Cade Wilson and Mike Howe will be lane 3. I'm not. Are they lining up the Super Cats farthest inside? I would assume they're going to do that because they'll out accelerate everyone else.
I would assume that. Yes.
And then they would go probably the Super V's and then Montlick because they're running by themselves.
I don't know the answer to that.
But the DSK, the 40 Outer Limits with Tim Linden and Rob Lockyer is will be going against the Was Up Fountain with the Smiths. So interesting that Rob Lockyer actually owns a heavy marine construction company out of New Haven, Connecticut called Patriot Marine, and Linden runs it for him. So he's heavily into the marine on various levels. But what would be cool to see the Mullers have something for Dirty Money in kind of their home waters, even though I know Lake Hopatcong is where they live. But Jay hasn't been on the throttles in this boat in a race in a while, so there's a nostalgia to it that would be pretty cool to see if they could run it hard. I think they were hoping for some rough water to be an equalizer.
Yeah, I'm sure they were definitely hoping for rougher water here than what it's turned out to be.
Because you know Dirty Money's going to fly.
The How To Live boat, Cade Wilson, Mike Howe. What a resurgence for Sterling engines too this year, as they're just all over the place. Not only in
scoring the base
Super
boat
Cat
1,
boat, Super V boat, the DSK Marine boat carrying the Sterling engines.
Well, CR has been fast this year with the new Sterling.
They certainly have, Rob and Casey. So still a lot of racing coming here in 2026. Next up, Michigan City, Indiana, one of the favorite races on the series. Will be there, part of the APBA UIM World Championships. So our next race, the end of July. Go to raceworldoffshore.com. The full schedule of events, and it goes on to Clearwater, and can't forget the APBA event that goes on in Inglewood in October. And it all ends at the APBA UIM World Championships presented by Race World Offshore, the 45th annual Key West World Championships. And to be the best, you've got to win Key West, the granddaddy of them all.
Now, Michigan City, you Florida guys, going to remember to bring a jacket this year because it was 70 degrees and you were cold.
I had a jacket and I was still cold. That's right.
So many people, that was my first year last year, but everyone always tells me, oh, that's the best thing about going up there is you get a break from the heat.
Well, the weather was exceptionally mild last year. All I can say is from being in Key West all of my life and seeing racing and hearing about Michigan City all the years, to be there the first time, everything I heard about it was true. What a great town. The community comes out for it en masse. Beautiful blue waters at Lake Michigan, and just a tremendous course and tremendous town to have racing. And I can see why everybody likes to go there. While the race teams love it, Ryan.
Yeah, they've always done a great job. Jack Miller and everybody that it helped put that race together for many years. It started as a Superboat International race many years ago. So they really, really, really come out with all the local support, throw parties and have bands and VIP tents and do an amazing job there at Washington Park in Michigan City. If you look on the horizon just far enough, you can see Chicago on the way, across the way from Michigan City. It's really a great sight to see, and we've had every water condition you can imagine on Lake Michigan, from glass flat calm to I had them cancel the race on us one year. It was so rough, so big. The storms come in there at varying conditions. It's a very challenging And I can tell you, though, that Lake Michigan water hits different. It hits hard, for sure.
It's so closely spaced. The waves, it's just like, it must just feel like bam, 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 bam the whole time.
I raced there one time in my super stock boat there that we hit a wave, and I'm like, did we just hit something? Because I think my teeth just rattled in my head the way it happened.
And it can turn on you quick there. I mean, you can be set up for one race day, especially a calmer day, and right weather system comes through and it'll rough right up on you. As we look overhead at the X Insurance Helicam and our boats milling, getting set for our final race, the heat of this afternoon, before coming back and racing here on Sunday. The Atlantic City Sports X Insurance Offshore Grand Prix, presented also by Maximum Inflation here at our Facebook and YouTube channels, as well as X Insurance's YouTube channels. Race World Offshore presenting its first race of the APBA UIM Series. Let's talk about the different classes of boats. Super Cat, naturally aspirated engines, new head rules a couple of years ago really made these boats quicker out of off the start and at the turns. 66-inch wide tunnel, primarily 388 skaters, although any hull is allowed. We have a 40-foot motion racing out here today, and you can bring whatever engine manufacturer you like. I think that's what I like. The coolest thing about Super Cat racing, it's the coolest next thing to stock car racing. You know, where you have different team owners, you have different engine manufacturers, and they are loud. Those naturally aspirated engines just they really belt out a tune.
Well, even Super V, you got Sterling, you got Was Up build their own
Correct.
engines.
Yep. Yes.
You know, same approach, same basic platform.
Very similar motor, slightly different cubic inch, but yes, exactly. They've got Super V's. They get them a little louder with a little different exhaust, but.
And then tomorrow you get the same approach with the Mod V's.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Scorpion, Cassie. Mark Rinda builds his own for Speed Marine.
Speed Marine.
So we're going to see 4, maybe 5 different engine manufacturers in that one race tomorrow.
And all guys that are real gearheads. I mean, guys that are really into, know about their engines.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just hire guys. And then, they in many cases they have a crew and people that manage it, but they're into racing big time and into the manufacturing and the development of the engines in a big way. Still hearing a lot of conversation on race control.
We've been hearing from, the one towboat had to go get the S7 and bring it in. And then the discrete boat, a lot of people are working on that, trying to make sure it doesn't keep taking on water. So
waiting the last start here of the day in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Super Cats, Super V's, and Factory Stock 500. That's a UIM Class 2. Last of our classes to talk about. These, of course, stock boats that are come right out of the mold, can't modify them at all. Everybody runs the Mercury 500R racing engine, the supercharged version of the 300R, moved from the 450R up to the 500. Boats can use the 450 gear case because the propellers they're more plentiful, but you could also use the beefier gear case if you're putting together a new package as well. But these boats comparable to the Super Cats in terms of speed, but outboard power.
Yeah, it's slightly different, a little bit lighter, but they actually have a wider tunnel. That's what makes them so much as fast. And it's unbelievable how fast the Class 2 boats, the Factory 500 boats, will go with a pair of outboards and the size of boats they are.
I remember the drag race out at the shootout a couple of years ago with the Super Cat against the 450 boat. It wasn't even 500s.
Right.
And it was pretty close.
Here we go. They're getting on plane now.
Yep.
The pace boat's coming around with the flag up. I see Wicked looks like they're. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
Wicked-
who drew lane 1 here. I'm not sure what the lane draw was.
Yeah, Wicked drew 1, Dirty Money 2, How to Live 3.
Up to about 45 miles an hour.
So we're here in race the pace boat. They're getting them up to 45, 50 miles an hour. Super Cat's there on in the middle of your screen.
Really good.
That's Wicked, Dirty Money, and How to Live.
And then you see the What's Up slide right in there. I'm sure Anthony's going to put the hammer down right here and make a run on the first straightaway. And the DSK Outer Limits closest to us in the screen right now. The V-bottom's got a little more torque to get going right there at the start.
Someone forgot to tell Bill Pyburn that.
Bill Pyburn is putting it down now and got a run going.
Looks like Bobby Adams got him a nice setup here. So
we're racing in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Final race of this Saturday. That's Dirty Money in the lead. As we start lap number 1.
Yeah, I don't think it's any surprise that Anthony and Dad are running hard.
No,
right out to the front.
There you see the
but look at Giovanni go.
Once he gets a head of steam on him, the outboard doesn't have a lot of torque, but once it gets rolling, it's going pretty good.
Yeah, the brightly colored Motley Injury Attorneys team with Logan Adon and Giovanni Carpatella running in that Mercury Powerboat, the twin 500R engines. It's the 38-foot Doug Wright.
How to Live is now up to second and taking an inside line, trying to chase down. So nice turn there by Cade, putting his sports car racing experience to good use. But I don't think anyone's going to present much of a challenge to Dirty Money as long as everything goes smoothly.
This 388 Skater powered by Goodwin Competition engines. Two-time defending world champion. Looking this year to become the first three in a row world champion in Supercat class since the major rule change in 2012. Of course, now racing completely different with the new head rules, but at the same time, really Supercat racing, I mean, looking back, Performance Boat Center boats, WHM Motorsports, the IMCON race team, it's all been pretty dominant, but in Supercat now Dirty Money looking to reset the bar as we look at the Wicked team. There's Dirty Money on the south turn coming around towards the beach and back up towards the steel pier to
that'll be lap 1. Yep.
Yeah, 1 of 10 here today.
Ryan, how's the radar looking?
I'm afraid to look at it because the last one I looked at was not attractive.
And they would have to complete 5 for it to be a complete race, correct? 5 laps.
Yeah.
Of the 10.
Half the original published.
Yep.
Published. Yeah, I mean the weather looks like it's coming, but hopefully they can sneak this in, get it going.
This is textbook how to run your boat. You keep your nose down.
Yep. Run the boat flat, roll the nose over, especially in just a little swell like this. You don't need to be greasy, especially with the lead they got going, and they know how good they are. They don't make a lot of mistakes. And like Eric said, a mechanical gremlin's likely the only thing that could take them out. The How to Live boat right behind them there, almost identical boat, a little different power. There you see on the screen the 40 fountain of What's Up of Ed and Anthony Smith. Great to have them here, almost their hometown race, and running that boat very well. They won the race in Cocoa Beach earlier this year in the very rough water. So Anthony is supposed to race a new Super Cat that's being built later in this season with Christian McCauley when that boat's done. I know they're putting together, they bought 388 skater number 1, and they've been working on it, and they're waiting on motor parts to build a new boat.
There we look at How to Live with Mike Howe and Kate Wilson from Sterling Engines on board the 388 Skater. Sterling Power running in second place here in the Supercat class.
Yeah, Mike Howe in that boat, he has an amazing YouTube channel and has done a great job with it, really, in how many new fans and spectators that he's brought to see offshore racing with his YouTube channel. They started with their pleasure boat exploits, and then when they went racing this year, they really have brought a different dimension to social media and offshore racing and expanded our horizons into what our viewers are looking at and able to see.
Well, that's how I learned about him even getting into racing was last year when I saw the video of the Outer Limits.
Correct.
Because he ran that with Tim in Key West, and then they bought the Supercat afterwards. But
Well,
even what they did with the lead up and the coverage from Key West on how to live.
Well, Mike had a pleasure boat, MTI, for many years, and him and his wife ran that thing all over the country. They even did an attempt at the Cannonball Run from Maine to Key West, which they set one of the records there. You see Dirty Money coming down the beach, hanging it out just a little bit now, letting it fly. The swells are rolling in a little bit. You can see Bill's having to throttle, and Britt's having to get it across the top of those swells right there, but they're definitely running it a little harder down the beach right now.
Yep.
Well,
Turn that lap at just a shade over
Whoa.
100 miles an hour. Yep.
Yep.
Getting
That's
up on
that
the
same
side.
spot we saw in testing earlier today.
Yep.
It's just right before the Ferris wheel. There's something out there that just catches them. Because Mike and Kate did that exact same move earlier today, but he caught it.
It's funny, I had a phone call early this morning from a legendary racer named Max Seelig, who raced the Harrah's 777 boat from here in Atlantic City. Him and his wife Kay lived here, and their son Jason. They raced for many years. He goes, well, make sure everybody knows about the hole right in front there. And I think they just showed us where it was. Like you said, a bunch of people have hit it. And Max made sure to tell me that there's a hole out there right in front of everybody.
I heard Jason was going to be here.
Jason is in town. I've seen some of the social media posts. He's definitely here in Atlantic City.
All right, back to the X Insurance Helicam. Quick look at how to live with Mike and Cade running in second. Here comes our DSK team with Tim Liddon and Rob Lockyer. This is the 40-foot outer limits. They teamed up in a 52 outer limits a couple of years ago, won the Cows Torquay race, a historic long-distance race in Great Britain. DSK, beautiful boat.
Yeah.
Sterling power.
This boat was actually the Lucas Oil outer limits that raced in P1 in the European Series. Trying to evolution class is what they called that back then, I believe, when P1 was racing. And then it sat, and if you follow along and go to the How to Live Facebook page, you can find the YouTube channel and find the story of them finding that boat and then preparing it to come back to race in Key West last year.
Mike called it a barn find.
Yeah.
In Europe. But that was, because Joe, Scrow, Michael, and Nigel all split seat time in that boat.
Right. I think even Steve Curtis got in the boat at a race or two and ran with them or for them.
But the leading boat here, no doubt who's got this one in the bag if they just keep it together.
Yep,
Dirty money way out front.
Textbook way to how to drive your 388 skater.
Can't wait to see Bobby Adams post after this one.
Yeah, turn that lap exactly the same as the previous, just at 2 minutes 23 seconds. Unofficially.
The color from that X Insurance helicopter, Camrick Lindsay and his whole crew there. Amazing footage of the true colors of these boats. And it may be a little hazy here from our viewing point in our live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Running in second, How to Live. They're looking to podium here in Ocean City, and looks like it's going to be a well-earned run today. Our first boat coming through for its next lap is the Motley Injury Attorneys team. They are running unopposed here in the UIM Class 2.
But we appreciate them showing up for the event, and they've also got Liqui as a sponsor, who's been involved in motorsports all kinds for years.
Here we get to see the speed of offshore racing. These Supercats can top 130, 135 miles an hour. And talk about a fast boat. That's a fast boat for a V-bottom. What's up? Now back to the Muller team, father and son, Chase and
Jay.
Yeah, Jay Muller in Wicked, the 40-foot motion.
And they switched that boat to tractor pipes this year. Took out the Y pipes.
They did.
I always kind of liked the Y pipes. It sounded like the old Ilmores.
The Y pipes, I'm surprised they got rid of them. I know Jay really loved the Y pipes, but he's been back and forth with tractor pipes and Y pipes in that boat a couple times.
Yep. But you can see the outer limits has, 4 or 5 steps compared to most boats in the similar length and size are usually a twin-step design. So Michael took a little different approach, but they're still a real popular boat for poker runs and high-performance fans. And now we're back to Dirty Money. And Peter Ledden told Bill Pyburn, no one's got more seat time in a 388 than you. You set it up the way you want. And I think I think it was good advice.
Took a little bit off that time as he expanded his lead from 18 to 27, now 33 seconds over How To Live. Came through around at 2 minutes, 29 seconds that lap.
I have that as lap 4.
See our number 2 boat coming through. Super Cat Racing here, as well as Super V and Class 2 Factory Stock 500.
Now this one is actually a 4-seat canopy.
Right, this was the original Jimmy John's Performance Boat Center 21 boat. It won a couple championships. Myrick ran this boat a long time with Johnny Tomlinson.
Canada Holmes.
Then it became Canada Holmes with Lauren Leibel. Lauren's out there listening. He just texted me a second ago. Lauren's watching over, seeing what's going on, but they got to catch up there. There's that shot I'm talking about, how great the color from the X-Insurance helicopter is, and the amazing footage of Dirty Money running south here along Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Yeah, Lauren Leibel, longtime racer. Remember him when I was a young broadcaster racing Canada Holmes boat in Key West. He's raced Class 1 as well, but winning that championship in that boat back in 2021.
I think that was his swan song when he did that, and he's like, okay, I'm done. And now he's got his big Apache that I was lucky enough to get to run with him and Bob Latham, and we set the record from West Palm Beach to West End and back again. We set that record in the old school Ben Kramer's 47 Apache a couple years ago. So there's the Wicked boat, the 40 motion. Jay and Chase running that today out of their Wicked Marine camp from Lake Apatacong, New Jersey, just up the road. The biggest lake in New Jersey, Lakeside Construction, a major sponsor on board with those guys.
DSK, the 40 outer limits. Tim and Rob talked to them down in the pits, getting stories about the Cows Store Key race, which they won a couple of years ago. Rob excited to jump into a factory stock platinum boat pretty soon. We see Dirty Money coming through, continuing to lead in Super Cat class.
So now do they start watching the weather even closer? Because I have that is completing lap 5.
Halfway
so now
through.
that would be the halfway point.
Mm-hmm.
And
it almost looked like that screen we were just on, that there might have been rain in the
Yeah.
background of that shot.
And the bigger
we got to
concern.
see. Yeah,
The concern in a canopied boat isn't the boats. The concern is, can the helicopters fly and stay in the air to provide the safety coverage they need? If
the visibility when you lose it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Back to How To Live. Looks like they're getting through that area where they kind of went up on the side earlier. They've got that. They navigated that cleanly. Continuing to run in second. We've got them just about 35 seconds off the leader in second.
So now the thing is, do they have like, I'm sure Bobby Adams is the one talking to Britt and Bill, but do they have another person watching the radar and saying, it's getting worse, it's getting, you know?
I'm sure that those guys do, but not every one of these boats, believe it or not, has onshore communication to somebody. And some of these guys, honestly, like when I'm racing in anything, I don't want to talk to somebody else. I want to talk to the guy driving the boat beside me.
Yeah.
And it's just, if somebody's listening on the other end, that's okay. But it's difficult when you got somebody else in your ear chirping things at you. I know those guys have it down to a science, the Dirty Money team, team owner, and Bobby Adams, of course, the crew chief. And they have a tech team behind them. Bo Renfro, the owner of the Dirty Money boat. I'd assume he's on the mic with Pyburn and Britt in the boat. There you see What's Up just motoring by. They do such a great job. Anthony Smith, an amazing throttle man in both cats and V-bottoms, grew up racing in the boat with his father and has become one of the best in the business.
Well, the boat that raced earlier today but had some problems, the Herbot boat, was the Was Up boat.
Right, one of the original Fountain Factory 2 boats, and then they had it for many, many, many years. But, you know, he can run the boat a bit harder now with 6 drives than the Herbot boat with Bravo drives.
Right.
You got to tiptoe around a 38-foot boat with Bravo drives.
So Dirty Money coming back through again, just taking a little bit off of that. It took about 7 seconds longer to go around on that lap. He's cruising in first place here as they move to the last 4 laps, looking overhead of the US 1 Dirty Money. There's the DSK Outer Limits back through again. Guys looking strong.
Don't want you to get in trouble, by the way.
Yeah.
Bo and Tiffany.
Bo and Tiffany Renfro. Yep.
That's it.
No, they were nice enough.
Co-owners.
They were nice enough. I got to do their lettering. The first year they were racing, we did a couple boats for them at the time. And then when they got the boat last minute, we wrapped it to go to Key West for them. So they were great to deal with. Challenging. Stephen Miles' design on that boat. Stephen does some amazing paint work, and was lucky enough to get to work with him and create their wraps for their boat back then.
All right, there's our number 2 boat in Super Cat once again. Trailing the leader, coming back through here by the Ferris Pier, Ocean City Boardwalk.
Still hanging it out a little bit. You can definitely see the different attitudes where Pyburn's got the boat rolled over and running and letting the boat do the work, where the How to Live boat, you know, running a little more trim, trying to go faster, but sometimes you got to go slower to go faster.
Yeah, and here's a perfect example. You know, the outboard powered catamaran packing that air, getting a little bit too much hop there, but that air getting packed down the tunnel. You want to try and keep the boat stuck to the water, Ryan.
Yeah, you got, the outboard boat's a little different. It doesn't have as much torque, but you roll it over the Factory 500 Class 2 boats. They like to roll over and not need as much trim as, per se, a skater or the Motion that's currently on the screen. You watch Jay Muller, who's throttling the Motion, run the WHM boat or any of the skaters he runs, and they definitely like a little more trim than one of these newer MTIs or Doug Wright's boats like that. I mean, the Wicked boat, as shown a second ago, is taken right off a 40-foot skater when Motion built that boat.
Yeah, but it's a little taller hull side now than the 388, and so there is an aerodynamic disadvantage.
I mean, that Wicked boat raced the first one of the very first seasons of Super Cat. That boat's 20-something years old.
Right. Now, how much more of a does the bigger canopy make it more tough to set up as far as CG wise between, because you got Dirty Money that's strictly a 2-person boat, and then you have How to Live that's does the bigger canopy make a difference as far as
it does for sure? I mean,
distribution?
slightly, but those, like the guys on Dirty Money, they have set up down to a science.
Oh, yeah.
And they have an engineering crew with them, and they do a great job. They've made teams work harder with their setup. In every one of these boats out here, every 10 pounds of where you put it and how you set one of these boats up makes a huge difference.
A lot of traffic here as How To Live comes through, and I think Dirty Money's navigating some on the backside there as they head to the south turn, because What's Up is in front of them, and the Wicked boat. So we'll see how that sorts out as we come to the final this is on there'll be 3 after this. 3 laps left.
Yep, I've got this as 7.
What's up? You were talking about Anthony Smith, who was throttling there for his dad, the New Jersey boys. Also known for racing in cat racing and super cats, obviously recently with Team Farnsworth, but even going back to like a really successful year, that AMH construction boat that he ran, and they almost won a world championship that year.
Another 388 skater that they ran for a very long time, and Anthony's been in a lot of boats. Like you said, ran the MTI with Farnsworth last year for a couple seasons, and ended up running their V-bottoms. Won the Key West Championship last year in the V-bottom.
Isn't the old AMH boat now Grade L?
Yes, that's in my younger years I could remember what each and every one of these was, and now I've lost track. But yeah, and that was a great boat because that was the last steel boat before we lost JR. That was the last boat that they built, and Grant and JR's son ran that boat for one season as steel, and in my mind we call it the steel black boat because the last season they ran, instead of everything being orange and white, it was orange and black.
Dirty Money now coming around, lapping Wicked. And approaching What's Up, as we mentioned earlier. The turning laps in that 235 range. Turned his fastest lap earlier to about 103 miles an hour. And that's all unofficial. They moved this course, and we're not exactly sure of the length, but it's somewhere right at 4 miles. As we look overhead from the X-Insurance Helicam, What's Up? Just talking about Anthony Smith, who's throttling that boat. We got another red flag hearing from race control. 3rd consecutive race here today.
All right. Okay, there it goes.
There's How To Live.
Red flag.
All good there. See Dirty Money, I believe, on the far side.
Red flag.
Yeah, because I heard them say something about someone was in the infield.
They're calling the race because of visibility. That's what they just.
Is that what it is?
Okay. Yeah, that's what they just said. I just heard it come through that they've lost the visibility, but they've got more than half the race in, so I'm sure that will be the end of the racing for the day here. But we got all 3 races in, despite what the weather forecast was. Just happy to put a show on for all the fans here in Atlantic City.
Yeah, the sun never really popped out today to help maybe burn some of that atmosphere off, and rain still lurking out there as well. Those rain showers you showed me on radar look pretty significant, but there's your winner once again, and they've been hard to beat over the last few years. 2-time defending Super Cat World Champion Dirty Money Racing with Bill Pyburn and Britt Lilly, the 388 skater with the Todd Goodwin competition engines, successful once again here as they win here in Atlantic City.
I text Britt random pictures. I do this to a lot of people. It probably annoys some people. Like, I'll be home watching old videos or old races, and I text Britt pictures and stuff of his dad racing. And I found a really old Lilly Sport Boats ad the other day that I sent him, and I think he gets a kick out of it. In Britt's, I saw Britt's mom here. It was great to see her this morning, and so Britt's long history, another kid that grew up racing offshore, very, very talented individual, whom you'll see many of his boats racing tomorrow, that now he's building the extreme V-bottoms in the Mod V class. So,
and the interesting thing, we didn't really get to talk about it today, is he's going to jump in and drive in his buddy's boat, Steve Miklos'
El Bandito tequila boat. Yeah. So Steve had a neck surgery recently, and but I know Britt's been driving that. He's built several of the boats in the class. He has a new boat coming for the boat floater team. So, like I said, and Britt's a very, very, very talented builder and painter and jack of all trades. And it's great to see him out here. This is a short jaunt for him to get here from down in the Chesapeake Bay area in Maryland. So it's great to be racing here in the Northeast again. And we can't thank the city of Atlantic City and Atlantic City Sports Commission for having us back.
Absolutely. It's great fun. everyone's having a great time. The casinos, the beaches here at Atlantic City, and to be racing this weekend for the first race of the APBA UIM series. So we're back here with 3 more races tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you having me on. It's amazing the people of texts that I've gotten the last few minutes since we've been on air. Nikki and Prescia, Joey, J.D. D'Elia Jr., John Vanderstel, Lauren Leibel have all texted me since we've been on the air. So I appreciate you having me on air. It's
Absolutely.
I've known both of you guys for a very, very long time.
Yes,
so
you have.
It gets me goosebumps to be here and help be part of this.
Well, we appreciate you stopping in. We'll chat more in the races that come up. Hopefully see you here again tomorrow. Ryan, thanks for joining us. We're going to get Nikki Mottlick of the Mottlick Entry Attorneys team on here before we sign off. So we'll see you tomorrow, Ryan. Thank you very much. Yep, and the weather set in, cut us short. We had a couple of red flags that really, unfortunately, meant something earlier, but everyone's safe and everyone's good. And three races in the books here today, and we'll be back for 3 more tomorrow as Nikki Mottlick joins us. Quick say hi. The Mottlick Injury Attorneys team look pretty good out there. Looking forward to big competition in our next race coming up when we head to Michigan City, Indiana.
Yeah, we're excited for Michigan City. We got to, break the boat in today. The water wasn't as rough as we expected, but I'm sure Michigan City will be a great race, and hopefully we have more of a turnout from the Class 2 class.
Yeah, you guys had some work to do to get ready to come here. That race in Cocoa Beach, you got beat up pretty good.
Yeah, we sure did. We put a lot of work into this boat the past few weeks. We basically broke every single thing that wasn't structural on this boat. We had to replace the cradles, the cowlings, the motor mounts. I mean, we broke a lot of stuff on that boat. So Talo, our head mechanic, and the whole team really worked hard on it. And then we had a tiny bit of structural damage from a little tap we had from another boat. So we put a lot of work into it, but it ran really nicely out there. So we're excited to have another race in a few weeks here.
How excited are you for the charge at the end of the season? Also, the potential of winning a UIM Class 2 World Championship.
That's huge. That's huge. I mean, we definitely have our eyes on that. I think you said it earlier. I mean, if you want to win, you got to win in Key West.
Yep, the granddad. They call the granddaddy of them all. If you want to be the best, you got to win Key West.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
You got to get there on the course of the way. But with the UIM Championship, it's a cumulative points thing too. But it's double points when you get to Key West for the final race. So every race counts.
But now you've got Giovanni all to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, him and Logan, they're a great team.
Yeah.
He won't be.
He won't be splitting time with another boat. And so he's going to be like, all right, hang on, kid, we're going.
Yeah, he just loves racing. The guy is an international world-class racer, racing with the Mottlick team, and Logan Adon, one of the top-notch drivers up and coming here in the sport. Nikki, good to see you. Great to have you here in Atlantic City. Look forward to seeing you at the next race in the series.
Great to see you. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much.
Nikki from Mottlick Injury Attorneys. We're going to take a time out, come back, wrap things up here from Atlantic City with Race World Offshore, broadcasting live the first race of the series.
Stop at Sunoco. Go with confidence.
Join the fabulous feel of fuel power. Video game move off into turn 3.
At Sunoco Race Fuels, we started blending our first high-octane fuel in 1950. And since then, we've become leaders in the industry, helping drivers become leaders on the track. Today, we sit at the front of the pack with partnerships of more than 40 different racing bodies, including 20 years of fueling NASCAR.
A chastity past Hamlin.
But a true leader never rests on their laurels. Now's the time to remind the racing world who we are and embrace what it truly means to take the lead.
36, get to the back bumper of the 4 and give him a big push.
You have to fight to pull ahead, to find your edge, to do whatever it takes to make you 1/10 of a second faster, smarter, more committed than the other guy, because you've got the kind of passion that can overcome the impossible. And we've got the most powerful performance race fuel available to help you do it. Sunoco race fuels. Take the lead.
To me, being a mountain guide is just the greatest opportunity to share my passion for skiing and climbing with people who are new to it. My main goal out there is to take care of and shepherd other people through the mountains, make sure that they don't get hurt, they don't get into trouble, guide them to places they always wanted to go but needed the skill set and knowledge of a guide to help them in accomplishing that goal. And then come back safe. No 2 days are ever the same in the mountains. Everything changes, the weather, the avalanche hazards. Not everything is really perfectly safeguarded. The mountains are an uncertain place. So it's a fine line, but I think when you can trust somebody and you do push them to a higher level, it's really rewarding. Ultimately, it's not a question of if any accident's ever going to happen if you're doing a lot of mountain guiding, but it's when. The knowledge that we have a really strong partner in our insurance company is essential. I'm helping my clients achieve great things in the mountains, achieve their goals in the mountains, and that's what X Insurance does for me. They were there for us when we needed them. They're providing an opportunity for us to go out and guide mountain climbing and backcountry skiing in the beautiful Wasatch Range, and that's something that I wouldn't feel comfortable at all doing without a great insurance company behind us. I know that I can trust them and I can go forward with confidence.
And here we are in Atlantic City, New Jersey to wrap up the Atlantic City Sports Offshore Grand Prix, first leg of the American Powerboat Association UIM World Series with Race World Offshore. It's all in the books. We had some red flags, an incident earlier, you'll see on Facebook and some pictures out there in media with the 07 boat in Class 400. It got banged up pretty good. Hopefully the shocker boat's okay. Hope those guys are as well. Quick response by the SSR safety crew here. Had another red flag, shortened the race by a couple of laps, and then weather kind of set in on us. You could see off into the distance here, shortening our last race by a couple of laps. We're back here with 3 races tomorrow. Class 1's going to be back out here as well as Class 700. The remainder of the bracketed class boats will be racing, and we got more for folks to watch here tomorrow beginning at noon on the live stream, Eric.
I think the race tomorrow is going to be Mod V.
Yeah, that's right. Mod V, the monohulls, the
enclosed cockpit.
Yeah, Phantoms and the Extremes by LSB out there with their naturally aspirated engines. Yeah, no, that the world class.
And Brett Lilly will be driving one of his Extremes.
That's right.
He didn't build that one, but he will be in the El Bandito tequila boat, so that's going to be with Speed Marine and an MBRV, and then young Owen Buis, who's had a hell of a start to the year.
Amazing.
That's going to be a great race.
Yeah, and the Kluwat Racing Team, sponsored by Louisiana. Just an amazing start. And then you talk to the other drivers and owners in Mod V, and they're like, man, that kid's got talent. And it's exactly what the sports needs. A lot of young upcoming talent, not only driving but also throttling these boats.
Yeah, you got to get, and even like Kirk Hanna's son, Trustin.
Yep.
He's been working as crew with Mark Rinda on the NMBRV team for years, and he's actually really good friends with the Langstons, and that's one of the reasons why we have the HBS team out here. So
a lot to look forward to as this season is now underway. We'll continue on with racing tomorrow afternoon. Join us beginning at noon as Atlantic City Sports presents the Offshore Grand Prix here in Atlantic City. Our live stream brought to you in part by Maximum Inflation. Special thanks to Rick Lindsay and Neil Mellis for the camera shots from the X Insurance Helicam. Thanks to Visit Atlantic City Sports, also the Harrah's Resort and the Golden Nugget, Caesars, Bally's, the Showboat here from where we broadcast from, the Tropicana, our sponsoring hotels, and all of our sponsors, including the Southern Racing Fuel, Sunoco, and Racing Communications. We'll be back tomorrow at noon with more coverage from Atlantic City. Until then, so long.
Experience summer in Atlantic City. Create memory-making moments in Atlantic City. Book your stay today.